What's the easiest way to find out what channel the game's on? Sports on What? Subscribe to the Sports on What app and quickly find the channel for every provider, satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel a game is on, and you can too. Download today.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, it is wintertime, and as a gentle reminder of that fact, it's cold outside. And not just here, but pretty much everywhere, even places that don't normally see freezing temperatures or snow. In Port Arthur, Texas, it snowed about 5 inches. That's the most snow that Southeast Texas has seen in 130 years. And as you might imagine, the people there, ill-prepared. And that's how one man got into a little bit of trouble. Our very own Mike Hawk brought us this story yesterday. A man in the town of Port Arthur, he posted a video to TikTok that showed him using his baby to brush snow off of his windshield. That was meant as a joke, but now he's under the threat of arrest because people have no sense of humor at all. It never would have happened, though, if it didn't snow. Meanwhile, last week in Canada, a man earned Shot of the Day honors after his pants fell down during a fight and ended up face down on a sidewalk with his penis frozen to the ground. And in Florida, where temperatures are unusually cold, authorities are warning residents to beware of falling iguanas. The reptiles enter a frozen state and fall out of trees, which is hazardous because they can weigh up to 18 pounds. Just let that sink in for a minute. But look, cold weather creates its own set of problems, and that's what we want to talk about today. So brought to you by our friends at Advanced Hair Restoration, we want to know what happened because it was cold.
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Over to us, away we go. Welcome to Season 20, Episode number 4,250. What a large and a charged program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeaters once again. We will be joined by Taryn Daly and Steve Mix from the Daily Mix Morning Show. We're going to sit and spin today. We have some actors that believe that they also have the ability to sing.
Oh, boy.
And you're going to like it, right?
Hopefully.
Multi-talented entertainers. That's right. Well, we all know there's a lot of people out there that are multi-talented. I mean, hell, Hugh Jackman. He's a classically trained actor.
Yeah.
He can actually do theater, go up on stage, sing. But these are people that actually thought that they could make a hit record.
There's a difference. Like, he can sing, but he'll never sing a song you want to hear. But it makes sense that he's singing for a movie or a musical or whatever it is you do. You click your heels and all that kind of crap. But, right, these people are like, nah, man. I'm making a pop record that you're going to like.
And most of the time, if a singer or a musician wants to do something with a movie, for the most part, they're going to do a cameo. Now, and probably going to play themselves.
I mean, Chalamet just did a good job singing Bob Dylan on SNL.
Granted, it's Bob Dylan, but he did do a good job with it.
Lady Gaga did a great job with the remake of A Star is Born as far as being an actor.
Yeah,
you know?
She did well. I don't like the movie, but she did a good job.
I don't know.
What?
You didn't think she did a good job?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's that hard for somebody with a musical career to be an actress in a movie about a musical career.
I hear you, but cut her some slack on this one. Like, I had to go see the movie with my wife. Actually, I fell asleep for part of it because that's what I thought of it. But she did a good job as an actress, right? Obviously, when she was on stage, she killed it. But all the storyline around it and all, I'm like...
But on the flip side, Bradley Cooper, he had to sing.
Correct.
So he, who was an actor, of course, he can do anything.
Yeah, but he still doesn't have a great voice. He's just not tone deaf. And everything you're saying was down here at this register, which, like, most of us
hopefully you sing in
that.
your register. I mean, hopefully you don't try to get out of it.
No, that's his register. Yeah. That was it.
Okay, all right. So we have 10 actors that did, in fact, release music. Mm-hmm. And they were being dead serious about it. Like this,
right, that's it, right.
See, it's not just like this is a part-time hobby. I'm just throwing this out.
Was Bruce Willis being serious when he did his stuff?
Yes. So was Jack Wagner. Do you remember Jack Wagner? He had a
From Heart to Heart or something like that?
He was on a soap opera.
But he was in a lot of... He was kind of famous for being hot.
Somebody like showed up on Love Boat.
Right. Patrick Swayze had a song, She's Like the Wind.
Boy, it's a terrible song.
But it was popular.
It was.
Back in the day.
It was bad, though, man.
John Travolta.
What did he say?
Well, the Grease soundtrack was incredibly popular on the Billboard charts back then.
Yeah, but I don't
You're
know
the one that I
because
want.
he was singing.
But he was singing.
I know, he was.
Mm-hmm.
Swayze, though, that's a popular song. I forget that's him.
Mm-hmm. That is him. Boy, I don't like that song at all. I don't remember what his voice sounded. Maybe he had a good voice, just a horrible song.
Well, you know they're serious when they go on tour. And Bruce Willis went on tour and played with his band. I mean, hell, so did Russell Crowe, whatever, the Grunts or whatever the...
90-odd grunt.
Yeah,
Right, that's why I don't know if he's being... It's Steven Seagal.
Sure.
Unfortunately, he was dead ass serious.
Who?
Steven Seagal.
Oh, he's serious about everything. Man, he's bad.
But Bruce Willis, I'd go see his band. I mean, I have a soft spot for white guys that sing the blues.
Is that a rich?
Really?
Oh, yeah, Miles, you know, man.
Okay. Huge Clapton fan over here.
So slow-hand himself.
Oh, boy. Yeah, 10 actors that release musicals. Say that's coming up for you today at 4:30 on the program. In the meantime, do yourself a favor. I'll listen to the show on the Odyssey app. If you can, if you listen for an hour, you're shot at $5K a day.
Yeah.
As we continue giving away that free money. And if you're at work, I mean, you can listen on Odyssey.com. Just be sure to sign in. And 1 hour, any part of the day, that gets you registered to win. You can do that every single day. Mm-hmm. So just know that with the Odyssey app, which is, by the way, absolutely free. And as we know, it's cold as hell. The sun's shining. That's not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Forecast, I believe, Ted, you are way up on this. Is it Saturday evening, Sunday, they're calling for maybe some lowland snow in the area? I know the rain's supposed to be here.
The rain's back Friday, maybe some snow showers Sunday morning.
Okay, so it's going to be a cold weekend, and it's cold for the most part all across the country. For an example, we have seen the storms that have hit Texas, as you said, that hit Florida. Quick update on Florida. They're going to get hit with another cold front.
Really?
Yes, they are. They say if Isaac Newton lived in Florida this winter, he'd probably have an iguana fall on his head rather than an apple. That is because the cold snap this coming weekend will likely cause the bright green reptiles to enter into their frozen state. And that's when they fall out of trees and other vegetation where they live. Now, you have to remember, these are not small animals.
No, not the ones there, man.
These are big animals. They weigh sometimes more than 20 pounds.
Because they average, anywhere from about 4 to 6 feet in Florida. At least the ones that I have physically seen. Like, they're not tiny.
They can get big. The majority of them are like a couple feet long. But,
yeah.
I mean, I've seen some that look like dinosaurs. And, I mean, when I say they look like a dinosaur, they look like a dinosaur. But those were 30 pounds in Curacao. These were huge.
How cold's it got to be for me to be like, I'm in my frozen state, can't come in today?
It depends on the size of the iguana. So they said like a 6.5 footer. Once it drops below 50 degrees, that's when you get into iguanas falling out of tree territory.
That's exactly right.
So the bigger the iguana, the colder it has to be. But it's cold enough in Florida that, look, if you're an iguana, you're falling out of the tree.
They figured out a way to shut down kind of their metabolic rate when it gets that cold. And they're conserving energy. A 2-foot iguana would become cold stunned after a couple hours at 50 degrees. A 6-foot iguana would take about twice as long in the cooler temperatures to enter that state. They say temperature Saturday morning will drop below 50 degrees throughout much of the Sunshine State, with lows in the upper 30s and 40s. In southern Florida, that is where most iguanas live. Miami dropped to 47 degrees. Fort Myers is supposed to be down to 39 degrees.
That's crazy.
Yes. They say should Florida residents come across cold, stunned iguanas this weekend, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission strongly advises against trying to warm up the creatures by bringing them into their home or vehicle.
Why would you do that?
They can snap out of their torpor quicker than expected and become defensive. Think sharp teeth and claws and long tails that whip. So don't try to save one of these bad boys if they're out in your yard.
Leave it alone. It'll be fine. When it warms up, it'll be good.
Yep.
Why would people bring it into... Because, look, you bring the thing into your house like, oh, we warmed it up. All right, well, if you're not keeping it as a pet, you got to put it back out in the cold anyway.
Sure. Shot of the day from just the other day. We have the story that happened in Canada as a drunken bar brawl ended with a dude's junk freezing to the icy sidewalk. You never want to hear that, but it happened. The incident started with a man who was intoxicated, getting into an argument with others inside a bar in Alberta. Now, the argument ended up spilling outside where the guy's pants fell down during the fight.
Yeah.
TMZ reported the police in Alberta told them it all went down at the East Village Pub and Eatery. Sounds like a decent place. This happened on Sunday, January the 12th. They added when the guy fell to the ground with his pants down during the scuffle with the other patrons, Mother Nature grabbed hold and refused to let go. So he must have been somewhat moist down there, I'm going to guess.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know, I mean, like...
He was already a little excited?
No, he had to have been just...
It was probably sweaty. Your
Sloppy.
adrenaline's going.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you Think about it. Like, your tongue will stick to the flagpole, not your finger.
Right, unless you lick your finger first.
Then stick it to the pole. Right. The first responders were eventually able to free his junk without injury. Now, wouldn't you just use hot water? Doesn't that seem like the logical thing to do? Just pour some hot water down there?
It sort of does, except I think that guy's going to be like, please do not put hot water on my junk. Maybe try warm. The problem
Warm
is
water,
this.
something.
Yeah, but warm water is going to cool off so quick. If your junk sticks to the ground, I'd have to think that the warm water would just encase it in more ice.
Oh, so you think it's going to flash freeze it in there?
Like, look, man, we have to use hot water because it buys you an extra 3 Mississippi to get your junk
Wouldn't
off.
you? How about chiseling the ice around his unit and then bringing him inside so that the ice can melt?
But
I mean, was it like a sewer top?
But did it stick to the, like, how
he
thick
fell on
is
a
the
sidewalk.
ice?
Yeah.
Right? Because if the ice
You
is just
chisel the
a
ice.
little sheen on top of the sidewalk, I don't know if there's enough ice to chill. I don't know what I would do, man.
Well, after authorities
Hair dryer?
peeled his penis off the ice,
Yeah.
he was arrested
Of course.
for whatever he did there in involving the fight.
You guys didn't learn about that in Boy Scouts?
No.
Right? You get all
Frost
these
freezing?
life-saving tips, but like, hey, man, there's a man frozen penis down on the sidewalk. Where's the Eagle Scout? What do we do, Mike?
It was just never, that cold enough to where we had to deploy that here. So
Or do they just say, keep your pants on?
that's right. That's damn right. Why?
Yep.
Why is your dong out while you're walking on the sidewalk?
Right.
That's a better
Don't
point.
fight with your penis out in the winter.
Right. I swear to you, I've told the story before, but it's still one of the weirdest ones. Closed down the bar. It's 1:30, 2 o'clock in the night. Start walking home, and it starts to snow. And it's that snow that it almost seems like it's like from a Peanuts cartoon. It's
Right.
big, heavy flakes. They're falling down very slowly. It's mesmerizing kind of thing. It's very tranquil. It feels very quiet. At the same time, it feels warm. It's one of those nights, I am walking home. I have had way too much to drink. I mean, way too much to drink, where I am just stuck in the leaning left position. Every time I take a step forward,
Yeah.
I start going left. I cannot control it. I am consciously trying to go right, and yet my body takes me left. It's just, I cannot walk straight. I am at that point. It is not good. I am not proud, but at the same point in time, I'm trying my best, and I'm not very far from home. I'm about 2 blocks away. There are a row of boxwood bushes that line the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And at one point in time, trying to straighten myself out, I staggered left and fell backwards into the bush. Now, when I fell back into this boxwood, it is a very thick, bushy bush.
Yeah.
And it kind of suspended me. So my feet were still on the ground. I was just laying back with my hands spread eagle in this bush.
And if you're that drunk, wherever you lay down is going to feel comfortable.
And
Yes.
That's the other issue.
Yes, absolutely.
And as I'm looking up, I'm seeing these large snowflakes fall. But then at the same time, my eyes are doing that thing like there's something wrong with the projector at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Everything is just kind of bouncing and it's not very steady. You know that ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding. It's almost like your eyes are dribbling a basketball, but the eyes of the basketball. So I'm going through that and I'm trying to straighten myself out. And that's all I remember. Okay? I do not know how much time elapses from this point. I do not know. I get a, hey, buddy, and someone is wiping the snow accumulation off my face and my glasses. Fortunately, I was wearing glasses. I probably would have woke up if I wasn't wearing glasses, to be honest with you.
Or died.
Yes. But this guy grabs my arm. He goes, hey, wake up, man. And I'm like, yeah, what? You know, like that. Like,
Hey, you're asleep. You're annoyed.
I'm agitated. You know, I'm warm. Everything's good. He's like, dude, you're in a bush. And I'm like, oh, man, help me up. Now, he was kind enough to actually hold my hand and walk me up the road. From that point in time, I crawled up the steps because the house was on a little bit of an elevated hillside. Crawled up the steps, crawled onto the porch, opened the door, crawled into the living room, passed out on the couch. But if it wasn't for that guy, I don't know if I would have gotten like severe frostbite. I do not know if
Probably.
if I would have died. I just don't know the outcome. And keep in mind, again, I left that bar at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. The fact that anybody walked by there is a freaking miracle. Because I'm pretty sure this happened like on a Tuesday night or something.
Right.
You know, this is not.
Is this Morgantown?
This is Morgan.
Probably helps. It's college town.
I'm 20 years old.
That helps a lot.
However
Yeah.
old I am, but yeah, that guy, swear to God, saved my life. I do not remember what he looked like. He was very kind and patient with me, and he realized, like, he started to walk with me and realized I can't walk.
Yeah.
So that's when he kind of assisted me. He's like, "Where do you live?" I'm like, "I definitely know where I live. I'm 2 blocks up." He's like, "I will walk you up there because I'm going to walk past there anyway." So he was the guy that guided me, to the front steps. I'm like, "I got it from here." And he's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "I can crawl. I just can't stand up and walk because I keep falling to the left." And I finally got in there, and I woke up the next morning, and when I woke up, I was like, okay, was this kind of a dream? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Was this a dream or whatever the deal is? But I had my shoes on, had my jacket on, had my jeans on, had everything on I was wearing last night, did not take any of that off. So I know for a fact I can start to piece things together.
Yeah.
And then, as of course I do, I'm walking to class that morning, and I walk by that bush, and there is an imprint in the bush of not as much snow as the surrounding.
Right.
Yeah. There's an indent. It still snowed over, but there's definitely a place where you could tell someone had fallen in that bush, and that was me. So that was, it kind of like, I can't describe it. It kind of like shocked me into, you could do better.
Oh yeah, you'll have that moment
When
man.
you're like, when you almost die, you're like, I know better than this. I'm not drinking Jaeger again, or whatever my thought process was when I woke up.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those.
Yeah.
Growing up in Rochester, man, it's so cold there all the time. You don't notice the cold. It's just what it is, right? Always had a ton of snow. Didn't give it a lot of thought. Never had a snow day. Nothing like that. And I will say, when I was in elementary school, this is a sad statement, but it's true. Every year we went down, not necessarily in our class, but at our school, we were always one student down. Because inevitably, you got Lake Ontario and Arundecoit Bay, and people snowmobile, drive the trucks on it, and kids play on it. And every year we lost a kid, went under the ice. As a guarantee. The principal, you didn't know when it happened, but it was always a Monday when we found out. It's happened over the weekend. The principal would come on, right, and do that full kind of conference thing with all the students, and they'd say some kid's name, and you're just like, oh, man, we know where this is going. And very sad, but, they went under the ice, and they would name the body of water, and you're just like, geez.
That was, to me, that was quicksand.
The parents were always, my parents were always like, hey, man, do not play. It doesn't matter how thick you think that ice is on the lake.
Yep.
And the thing is, for the most part, believe it or not, you're safe. But I'm a bitch, so I'm like, you do not have to worry about me walking on ice that's over water. I'll play in the snow.
Right.
But I remember I get home from school, and there's a ton of snow on the ground. No big deal. Latchkey kid. I don't have my key. So I'm locked out of the house. So at this point, it is getting cold, but there's nothing you can do. Pre-cell phones. The only phone is in the house, so I can't even call my parents to let them know I'm locked out. I didn't care much. I'm kind of doing homework or something, but I got to poop. And like most little kids, you overthink what you should do. And finally, I'm like, dude, we live in the woods. Just go into the trees and take a dump. And I don't know why this memory sticks with me. It's just so irritating to me, but I'm already cold. My feet hurt. I go out into the trees. I drop my pants, and it's a single turd. And I always remember I could hear it. You know when you put something really hot on something cold? I could hear it melt into the snow. But the indentation it left was the exact shape of the turd, which more or less was like a reverse letter C. I remember that. And then I had nothing to wipe my ass with, so I used a sheet of loose leaf notebook paper. And I put a paper cut on the very rim there. And I cannot explain how long it takes for that to heal and how bad it stings. So now I'm in pain. I realize I've cut. And that's the thing. I wipe my ass and I look and there's not blood where the paper cut, all right? But I got to sit there like another hour and a half. And I remember my father pulls into the driveway and he starts laughing because he realizes obviously I've been locked out of the house. And I'm just pissed. Like, how long you been out there? I'm like, well, since I got home, man, like 2.5, 3 hours, whatever it is. It's like, why are you so upset? So I told him what happened. He's like, you cut your ass on a piece of paper. I didn't never think to wipe my ass with. So he laughed at me. You know what he's mad about? Thought I pooped in the yard. I was like, man, that really? I've been out there
Some animal's going to come and eat that. It's
You're
gonna be gone
mad
tomorrow.
because I pooped in the yard. I got a cut on my butt, man, that is stinging and took like a week to finally heal, and that's the grief I'm getting. Thanks.
What happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Oh, let's get a beer. Men's Room Walker launch party is on Friday, February the 7th. We'll do a live broadcast up there at the Black Raven Brewing facility.
Yeah.
Beautiful spot in Woodinville. And you will be part of the live studio audience while drinking beer with us and celebrating the launch of our 20th anniversary lager, which is out now. We've got some updated locations coming up.
Yep, I've seen
The
a few
beer
of those.
is spreading far and wide. I actually went to buy some salsa for a buddy down in Tacoma, and I go to my tried and true location, and I know they got the salsa. They also have the Men's Room beer broth from Lily's Famous Sausage.
Nice.
They've always got the Black Raven Men's Room IPA in the bright yellow can. Mm-hmm. So I walk into Market Time up there on Fremont Avenue, so I know I can get all three. I'm going to get a little care package. And lo and behold, the reverse of everything happens. They were sold out of the sausage. They were sold out of the Men's Room IPA in the bright yellow can. They did have salsa.
They did have some salsa.
I just
All
bought
right.
them 2 tubs of salsa, and said, man, it's not the best care package in the world, but
But it's a lot of salsa.
that was the best that I could do. Yeah, the cans, the silver cans are getting out there for the lager.
Mm-hmm.
More locations are coming out on draft as well. We'll keep you updated as those come in. If you happen to see the beer out, either at your favorite watering hole on draft, in a can, however they've got it, do us a favor and send a pic to the men's room at KISW.com. We'll spread it all over the social
And
media
by
world.
we mean Mike.
And hopefully we'll get a place that's close to you where you can enjoy it. And if not, join us for the launch party. We're going to start our Men's Room World Tour with a celebration that's going to last all year long.
Hell yeah, man.
This is stop number 1, so hopefully you'll be able to. It's absolutely free. Join us on a Friday afternoon and grab a cold one. Good times. Okay, our question: what happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Wes. Welcome to the men's room.
She got a roof that don't leak.
Hola.
All right, so I was on my way back from Tennessee down to Louisiana on the 20th, right before the winter storm this year. And I get back, and I thought I prepped because I'm a geographical bachelor, so I started prepping my camper. Drain all the lines, drain the hose, turn on the space heaters. I woke up that Tuesday morning after it dumped all that snow. It was 49 degrees in my camper. I had no water. Thank God the electricity was still on. So I spent the next 4 hours going to Lowe's multiple times to get insulation for the hose, trying to de-thaw the whole camper, turning on the heaters, turning on the propane, and I get to start putting the insulation on the hose, and I'm just praying that this works because I wanted to take a hot shower, and I'm I got mud, I got dirt, I got water all over me from disconnecting the hose, reconnecting the hose, all that. And my redneck neighbor walks out and goes, "Hey man, them pool noodles work?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, I didn't have I just didn't have the time to tell him this is actual insulation. It's not yellow and green and pink pool noodles. It's black, and it has tape on it, double-sided tape. And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'll see," because I spent time just stomping my boots on the hose to crack the ice up so that it would actually push water. And I was just I was so fed up. I turned the water off. I kept the space heaters going, and I went to my friend's house on Fort Polk, and I was just like, "Hey, man, I'm staying the night with you, bro. I'm over this."
Is that the first time you had to deal with that kind of thing, as far as the frozen water in the pipes and all that?
Oh, definitely in Louisiana. Right. It would get cold. It would get cold. I'm in southern Louisiana. But the greatest thing was when I would go out and I see all these idiots in the ditches, the sheriff on the north side of New Orleans put out a meme. You can look it up, and it says, "Y'all can't drive when it's sunny, so just stay home when you learn how to drive."
Yeah. What time? Is this a camper you're pulling with a truck?
Yeah, it's like a travel camper.
Okay.
It's an ultralight 30-footer.
Did the people in Louisiana even have any kind of winter gear? Because it's one thing to snow. It's another thing when it's actually cold outside. What do you even wear, man? Because it's not like anyone down there is buying North Face.
Nah, so I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Missouri. My wife's from Tennessee. And, I had my thermals on. I had my overalls, my hoodie, beanie, all that. And, dude, I'm just, driving around, laughing at these people who, are trying to get into Walmart just freezing. And I'm like, Dude, this is not cold.
That's the thing, man. When it is cold outside, like I've got some clothes for when it's cold, but my goal is never to spend a lot of time outdoors when it is cold. So I can get from point A to point B and be fine. But we went to Kansas City a couple years ago, Chiefs-Ravens game. And it was 13 degrees, I want to say. And, like, I realized my clothes are not built for 13 degrees. So when we get there, all these people from KC, they're in the parking lot. They tailgate really well. And they still got their smokers going, they're eating barbecue. Very nice group of people. I hate their team, but very nice group of people. And these dudes looked over at us, right? And they got their big Carhartt, camo onesie on. And, man, these guys walked over and said, hey, man, listen, I know you guys ain't going to ask, but we don't want you to die. They just handed us hand warmers. I'm like, thank you. Said, man, don't put them in your gloves, man. Put them in your shoes. You said, said you're going to put your hands in your damn pocket. So they were not kidding, man. So we crushed up all these, put them in your boots. That was the power move. I was so grateful to these people in Kansas City because they just looked at us like, you're not built for this.
Is that the coldest weather you've ever experienced?
It's hard to say, all right? So we went to Kansas City, and it was 17 degrees by the time I got to kickoff. But we were on the side of Arrowhead where the sun hit, so we started shedding clothes. It was 17 degrees, but somehow in the sun, you started feeling hot, right? So we stripped down. But I went to a Ravens game against Carolina. This was 2 or 3 seasons. This was in Baltimore, but the wind was whipping. So I want to say it was like 27 degrees, but with the wind chill, it felt like 6. And first of all, the game finished. It was like 9-6. It was a terrible game, right? We won, but it was just a boring game. I have never been that cold for that long in my life, and I cannot tell you how many hundreds of dollars I ended up spending at the team store.
Yeah, to buy more clothes.
Dude, hats, jackets. My daughter, who's not even a football fan, God bless her, man. She sat there and this was, she does not care, right? But for 3.5 hours, she sat there freezing to death. I had to buy her 3 blankets, a pair of gloves, a pair of mittens to put over the gloves, as much hot chocolate as she could drink before she's going to pee herself, 2 hats. And I mean, so you look at this picture of us, me and my son, we're still standing cheering. My wife likes football, but it's a little cold. She's getting a little miserable. And it looked like we had a pile of blankets next to us. My daughter was under there somewhere. I mean, but I spent, I want to say $400 or $500 at the team store because, like, I would buy something, right? Get back to the seats within 20 minutes. I'm like, I look at my daughter. I mean, she's bouncing back like she's having a seizure. I'm like, all right, baby, come with me. Let's go down and get something. She would grab a blanket, man. 20 minutes later, we're all shaking again. So, I mean, I went broke to try to stay warm.
I had an Army-Navy game like in 2005. Same thing. It's like 20 degrees, but that wind is whipping.
Oh,
and that's the only
worst.
time, like, you know how, like, your teeth will chatter?
Yeah.
You know when you're real cold? I am not kidding you. My butt was doing that.
Your ass was actually chattering.
It was that cold. And same thing. Like, we had on hats and gloves. We didn't have we had on winter jackets, but they just weren't as big.
You need something built for wind, man. I'm talking. It can just be cold. You go, all right. When that wind
you need a
picks up,
shell.
It is unbelievable.
Absolutely need a shell.
I want to say I had 2 beers in that entire game because just putting my hand out of my pocket to grab my beer, it was so cold, it wasn't worth it.
Right.
Somebody brought shrimp cocktails that were previously frozen.
Right.
And we had to put them on a little heater just to defrost them because it wasn't warm enough.
Right.
Last year, about the same time, I was in Chicago and went to a Chicago Blackhawks game. Now, the arena itself, the United Center, was cold. It was the coldest arena I have ever been in. Like, to actually watch something for that extended period of time. Like, people are getting up and walking around. No one was taking their hat off.
That's bad.
People had their hoods up. It was cold inside the arena, which I thought that was weird. But anyway.
Hockey generally is colder.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not like this. This was like, wow, they're going to turn on the heat. Now this is it. I'm like, man, you start tapping your toes and everything else. At the end of the game, where it's about 5 blocks to the bus stop. So you got to walk all the way past all the parking lots and everything else. And, I mean, the wind was cutting through you. It was cold. I cannot describe how hard the wind was, how it just ripped through everything. So we get to the bus stop, and there's a dude, and he is Chicago as Chicago can be.
All right.
I mean, he looks like a sketch on SNL.
Thick solo stash.
He had one.
Yeah, I was going to say Chicago.
Okay, and he's doing if you know someone from Chicago, they only wear Ray-Bans.
Right.
There's no other sunglass available. I'm serious. No Blues Brothers. I mean, these are Chicago movies. They don't wear anything other than Ray-Bans. Everybody standing around me is wearing Ray-Bans. It's Chicago sunglasses. So he's got this look, and we're all standing by the bus stop, and people are kind of spread out a little bit.
Sure.
And he's like, fellas, folks. Let's bring it in, man. Let's bring it in. And he starts, and I'm not kidding you. He said, come on, man, everybody just get in. Let's get as close as we can. And I swear to God, he huddled us like cows into a small group. Come on, in more.
Just keep the body heat.
Keep the warmth.
We were all elbow to elbow on this corner waiting for this bus to show up, man, because the bus wasn't coming. And it was, but he was like, yeah, man, the small women get in the middle. You got any kids in here? Let's get them in the middle. Bigger guys.
He's got that penguin
bigger
attack
guys
on there.
stand
Right?
on the outside, man. We'll try to block him. I mean, he was basically in charge of like, all right, this is the only way we're going to survive. We're in the middle of the city.
Right.
Just wait for a bus.
But when the wind's blowing, man.
God.
Oh, so you watch these like nature documentaries, and yeah, polar bears, I get it, it's in the name, and they jump in this cold ass water. It's the penguins where I'm like, man, if reincarnation is real, please do not bring me back as a penguin, because they'll show that wind is ripping through Antarctica, right? And they're like, oh, the babies and the mamas, they're like in the middle of the pack, and it's just these dudes to make the ring around the outside to keep the wind off. And it's not like penguins can really give a facial expression, but I swear to God they do when it's that cold, and every one of them just looks like, F this.
What happened because it was cold? 206-803 Rock.
I don't think penguins can frown, but that's what it looks like.
Say not a big deal, but years ago, Maryland's playing a Thursday night game, right? It used to be a big deal, ACC, Thursday night football. So we're all going, and it's one of those days in Maryland where it's like late November or something. So it's fine during the day, but it is going to drop like 20 degrees during this game.
Yeah.
So my brother bought a little like half pint of E&J brand.
You're about to say Easy Jesus.
Easy Jesus, right? So our buddy Dan, who's with me, DB, he's not used to the protocol or whatever. I don't know. All I know is my brother brought this specifically just to take a quick nip here and there to warm you up. I know it doesn't, but
you feel like it.
Right. And we passed it to him, and he chugged it.
Oh,
I mean, my brother, like, he's like, what? Like, it was only a half pint. And I was like, oh, my brother, I thought was going to kill him. He was like, that's how we were going to survive.
Damn you.
Yeah.
What happened because it was cold? 206-803 Rock.
Hello, Chandler. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, fellas.
Hola.
So, my ex-brother-in-law used to live in Bethel, Alaska, which is about, you have to fly into Anchorage and then take a separate plane to get there because it's landlocked during the wintertime. And so it runs in the wintertime at roughly negative 20 degrees. At any given time, the sun comes out and it warms up to about negative 7 or so.
All right. Why does he live there?
So his wife got a unbelievable opportunity for a job that made her over 6 figures a year.
Okay.
Damn. Okay.
But what they didn't realize is when you get up to a place like that where everything has to be barged in because there's no road access, everything costs 4 times as much.
Yeah.
So a gallon of milk up there is like $12. And
a dozen eggs are 10.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure right now they're probably like $40 or $50 for a dozen eggs. Yeah. A Costco pack of water up there is like $15. So they made it work. But, yeah, we went up there to visit them a couple years ago, and we flew in. You get out, and you immediately can, like, spit, and it'll freeze before it even hits the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, why did you go in the winter? I have to ask that. Because like anything else,
That is a good question.
I would tell anybody that was coming to visit me in Seattle, even though it's a sunny day out today, hey, don't come now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe let's shoot for July. Or
I tell everybody August and September.
Yeah. Even October. It's
July you get away. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why we went in the wintertime, because the flights were really, really cheap.
Yeah,
Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah. They might even give you money when you get on the plane.
It's like if you're going to buy meat at the grocery store. Like, Vienna sausages, what a deal.
Right.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Right. Yeah. It actually wasn't my decision. I was just kind of going along for the ride because, you know, the wife at the time.
I was going to say, because you're married. I get it.
Yeah, so how cold was it actually within the residence? Because if it's that cold outside, I'm assuming if you get your house up to 55, you've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, it was about 62 was kind of the high in there, and that's with the heater cranked like full time. We couldn't take a shower because they have to get their water actually trucked in and put into a tank outside their house, and that tank was frozen. So we couldn't even shower because the water was frozen.
So how do you get water? You just take ice and boil it, or snow?
Yeah, we'd actually go outside and grab snow and just put it on the stove and boil it.
Could you do? What about toilets? I mean, so you got to fill the toilet back up. So if the tank is frozen, could you not flush the toilet either?
So you would have to constantly flush the toilet about every 2 minutes to keep the water flowing. So even if you don't use it, you still have to flush it, because if you let it sit for too long, it freezes.
Is he still living up there?
As far as I know, yes. I've actually been divorced from her for about a year and a half now.
Okay.
But as far as I know, yes, he's still living up there. But the reason why I called in the first place is because when I was up there, their dog went running outside and rolled around in the snow for a little bit and then got frozen to the porch. Like little dirt stuff.
Oh. I mean, like its paws were stuck on the porch.
Oh, well, the hair actually froze to the porch when she laid down on the porch.
Oh.
So, like, she couldn't stand up.
How long was she out there before anyone realized that that's what the problem was?
I'd say half an hour, 45 minutes.
So how do you get a frozen dog off the porch?
So we had to boil water and then put it in a spray bottle and let it cool down so that it didn't burn her, and then slowly spray the hair that was connected to the porch with warm water to loosen it up enough to where we could get her up enough to get her in the house. But yeah, it was quite a sight.
Yeah, I bet it would be.
How long did it take to unstick the dog from the porch?
15 minutes maybe, because the water, as you're spraying warm water in negative 20-degree temperature, still wants to freeze as you're spraying it on the dog. So we had to keep constantly refilling the bottle with warm water to.
Did the dog seem traumatized by this? Or was this just like, I did this last year, I know what's going on?
Yeah, it seemed like she was okay with it. I mean, as soon as we got her up, she just went back in the house and we toweled her off, and she just started running around inside like she was before. So,
okay.
I don't know if I never asked if that actually happened to her in the past, but she seemed like it wasn't that big a deal.
Like, if this was 2 or 3 days, maybe I could tolerate it, right? You know, I mean, like when we tried to get up on the top of Rainier, we were kind of stuck in a snowstorm for 2 or 3 days. It was absolutely maddening as far as not being able. If you wanted to go to the bathroom, you needed to rope up with somebody else.
Right.
It'd take somebody a long time to get all those clothes off just to be able to poop and not poop on all the layers that they're wearing, because you've got 4 pairs of pants on. You've got, I mean, it's cold. The wind is blowing 60 to 70 miles an hour at this point, and we're stuck there. I mean, you want to talk about going stir crazy.
And didn't you say, like, they're giving you these bean burritos for the protein?
Yes,
but because you can't physically leave the cabin you're in with, 15, 20 other people?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's just blowing farts all the time, and there's nothing you can do.
And, based on your diet, like, you want to poop. But dude, you ate 2 packs of beef jerky.
Right.
It ain't happening, man. Like, this is not going to be as easy as you think it's going to be. So, I mean, it was a lot like camping as far as that goes, where you're like,
no, yours is less fun than camping.
If you try to hold it. But I'm telling you, to live like that every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I did 3 days.
Thank you.
Every single day of your life is a challenge just to survive or peel your dog off your porch.
I wanted to ask him, and I should have, what is the job that she has that pays 6 digits? Because
she's got an ice cream shop.
Once he explained that story, I'm like, not worth it. If I got to live like that, man, like, hey, we have a great salary, but this is real.
Maybe I've got to.
Maybe you adjust to it.
Yeah. Or I've got a winter cabin in Anchorage or something.
Right.
I'm closer to civilization, or maybe there's a plowed road. Or What happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
Dreaming of a 6-night getaway to paradise? Escape to the islands of Tahiti and Moorea with Air Tahiti Nui, the world's most immersive travel experience. This all-inclusive vacation package is designed to take you to a tropical haven, starting with nonstop flights from Los Angeles or Seattle to Tahiti. From the vibrant cabins to the warmth of our Polynesian crew, you will be transported to Tahiti from the moment you step on board. Your package includes luxurious hotel stays, ensuring that your experience is as comfortable as it is enchanting. Start each day with a delicious Polynesian breakfast. Enjoy exciting excursions that showcase the beauty and culture of the islands, and take advantage of convenient transfers that make your trip seamless from start to finish. All of this begins at just $26.95 per person. Whether you're looking to explore crystal clear waters, unwind on pristine beaches, or immerse yourself in rich Polynesian culture, Tahiti and Moorea offer endless possibilities for both adventure and relaxation. Call 1-877-468-2448 now to book your Tahiti and Moorea escape.
Lovers wants to know, ever forget Valentine's Day in the past? Need to make up for it? Do it and them right this time with the perfect pleasure present from Lovers Stores. Whether you're looking for spicy toys, alluring lingerie, or exciting accessories, Lovers has it all. Save 20% when you mention unforgettable at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until February 28th. Some exclusions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. When that pipe starts to trickle and you're in a real pickle, call Pinky. When that burst pipe starts to smell ripe, call Pinky. When your water heater's shot and it won't get hot, call Pinky. When you get home to a flood, call your best bud. Pinky's Plumbing to the rescue. No job is too big or too small. Pinky's does it all. So when your plumbing backs up and things get stinky, call Pinky's. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Hey, don't forget to check out the program for 1 hour there on the Odyssey app or Odyssey.com. Your chance to win $5K a day. Okay, we'll go to California. Couple said they're looking to move out of their, quote, dream home after a frightening incident involving a JetBlue aircraft. Michael Reese and Leah Farnari are suing the airline for $1 million. They allege a block of ice the size of a watermelon fell from a flight on New Year's Day and crashed through the ceiling of their home in Inglewood. Per the complaint, they're getting ready for bed about 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock?
Block of ice suddenly slammed into their bedroom and fell on their pillows. The couple said they barely escaped devastating physical injury. The flight had just set off from LA to New York when the ice incident took place. The FAA found during its investigation that the plane in question had a history of potable water problems going back at least 6 months, and it was suspected of dropping a similar piece of ice on a home in Boston in the summer of 2023. Since the incident, the couple say they now cringe in fear each time a plane passes over their home, which is at LA International Airport. Meaning, an airplane goes over their house once every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They said in the suit that the fear of planes flying overhead has made his insomnia so bad that he's had to reject work as a commercial driver for the TV and film industry. Two also say in their complaint that they now feel unsafe in their home that they bought in 2020. Our question, what happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Andy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So you guys remember, like, 20 years ago when camping out for Black Friday was a big thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah, so back when I lived in Minnesota, my friends and I decided that we were going to go do the Black Friday thing and headed there at, like, 5 o'clock on Thanksgiving and set up in line. I was dressed in, like, all of my sweaters that I owned, and we had blankets and sleeping bags and everything. So we were all decked out, ready to go. And it was still cold. I want to say it was, like, 0 degrees out.
Jeez, man.
And so, yeah, we were good, but at about midnight, this girl shows up, and she's dressed in basically like jeggings and one of those like teeny tiny fashion jackets with like a little fringe of fur on the hood and nothing really insulation wise.
Yeah.
So she's hanging out there with her friends or whatever, and she ends up just passing out. Ambulances show up, so she actually had hypothermia. She was so cold standing out waiting for Black Friday that she got taken away in an ambulance.
Damn.
You'd think if you lived in Minnesota, you know better than that's not the time to do fashion.
if you're going to spend the night when the sun is down, right, in Minnesota in November. That is so stupid to me.
Yeah, it is. But don't they have? Isn't that like one of the biggest indoor malls in North America in Minneapolis?
Yeah, that's the Mall of America. We were at a much smaller one outside. It was a Best Buy actually, so it's like not much infrastructure there.
Okay. Now, all right. When you were in line, because you said Best Buy, it's Black Friday. They're going to do their deals. Were you there for you, or were you buying gifts?
I wasn't even really there for me. I ended up buying like a hard drive or something because I didn't have any money. I was broke in college, so I was just there for the experience, really. So.
And how was it? Like when they opened the doors that morning, at 6 o'clock, whatever. I mean, are people just losing their minds to go flying into the store?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there were people breaking rules and everything going up. They were handing out tickets at this point, so they didn't really have the big shoot everybody, fight everybody rush in the door, but they'd go out and hand out some tickets for people for the big items, and so the first 30 people get something, and there's one guy who kept cutting in line, coming up front, taking tickets and bringing them back. He actually got kicked out by a kind of mob rule thing.
It's funny because it used to be people went crazy as far as Christmas shopping went. It was Christmas Eve, right? So Black Friday was a thing, but anytime I saw the news, and the first time I saw violence break out for Christmas shopping in the news, it wasn't a Black Friday thing. It was the year of Tickle Me Elmo, all right? So it had been released 85 maybe or whatever it was, but they released Tickle Me Elmo. It's all the rage. I don't know much about it because I'm just at the perfect age to not care one way or another. But I'm watching the news with my parents, man.
Are you sure? You think about Cabbage Patch?
It could have been Cabbage Patch.
Cabbage Patch was massive, and then in the 90s, I was just old enough to not want to Tickle Me Elmo, but that was a craze, too.
But it was... So they showed these two women. This is December 23rd, all right? So it's one of those deals where you had known that this toy was the hot product, but like a lot of parents, and this is pre-Amazon and all that, so you couldn't order it in advance, they just didn't get around to buying it. So they're at the store to get whatever's left of either Cabbage Patch or Tickle Me Elmo. And it's just these two housewives, man, and they are throwing haymakers in the middle of the aisle, and I could not believe my eyes. I'm 16 or 17. I'm because they both had their hands on the last whatever it was.
Yeah.
And you see them tugging, and there's the news voiceover, and I mean, these ladies are throwing blows that would knock you the F out, man. And they're just going and going. I remember the box ripped, the toy hit the ground, and I'm like, my God.
Okay.
So my dad looked at me and just said, see, when your brother and you were growing up, if we were in that situation, you just didn't get the toy. I ain't fighting anybody over a goddamn toy for my child. It never happened.
I'll wait. Is that era gone? The era of waiting in line for something? Because the last I can remember a story, and it's based on the fact of just how people shop. So with the brick and mortar thing, maybe the last story I remember is a new iPhone coming out, and people standing in line for a new iPhone or whatever. But for an example, let's just assume
they'll still do it with certain phone releases. I've seen because the way they do it is. Inevitably, you can order this online, but it's much better publicity for us to say, look, 3 days before it's going to be released to everybody, so to speak, you can get it exclusively at these stores, and you get those ridiculous lines. And it's funny because these people that go in, they get their phone, and then when they leave, it's deathly quiet because they're all just staring at a screen and walk out of the store.
I mean, it's kind of coming back with certain things, especially with tennis shoes. Nike made kind of a mistake. I was reading an article, basically during the pandemic, they just closed down all their stores. Because everything was online, and they just didn't expect, especially with shoes, people like to buy them in person.
Yes.
So, like
to try on these shoes.
Right.
Correct. Like there's certain Air Maxes I could buy because I know exactly how it fits. I have pairs of different colors. But Nike, actually, they're like, man, we kind of made a mistake because they closed down all their stores, and then they took a lot of stuff off the shelves. So then you have, Dick's Sporting Goods, which is massive. And they're like, well, we already gave this shelf space to Adidas or somebody else.
So, okay.
Oh, damn.
So, I think certain elements people are definitely will wait in line and go back.
Right. And just the idea of buying a ticket. So, okay, let's just say that the Seahawks make it to the Super Bowl. And let's just assume that the Super Bowl this year or wherever is going to be in Seattle. Now, when those tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. or whatever it is, you can't go down to the stadium and stand in line and buy a ticket. If there's some concert you want to see at Climate Pledge Arena, they say tickets go on sale Friday morning at 10 through Ticketmaster and Ticketmaster outlets, right? That's an outlet. But there's nobody sitting in a box down there.
Not anymore, no.
Selling tickets. So as far as standing in line to buy something, I would stand in line to buy a ticket to see a team that I really cared about or a concert that I really cared about. So the experience, but other than that, I'm not standing in line to go shopping.
The last
Last
time I even stood in line, and it was an overnight deal, but KISS was during the reunion tour in like 96, 97. So it's the first time all the original members are getting back together, and you still got paper tickets then. I lived in Baltimore, so I went to the Baltimore Arena. Probably 2,000 other people down there, and like just didn't go to sleep, but we spent the night out there. Got down there at midnight. I want to say it was a 10 o'clock deal, right? And it was kind of a cool experience because everyone has a common interest and everyone's just trading stories, but a lot of us had never seen the original lineup in spite of having liked the band. So literally waited. And what are they like waiting in line overnight? You're just kind of in a place when you get there, but you knew you get their tickets early. But it was different because if you were a scalper back then, you still had to wait in line with everybody else.
Yeah.
And you could go up and pay in cash if you wanted to buy 50 tickets. Well, sell later.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I would prefer, just on fairness alone, that if you wanted to go buy a ticket to a sporting event, you had that option. Now, maybe it's 2 tickets per person, so you can't go and buy 8.
Right.
I feel like some of it they used to limit it.
You know, like, but if you buy 2 apiece, if you need 4 tickets, you bring 2 friends.
And that was the whole deal, right?
Yeah, and that way, look, you're going to get face value for the ticket. You're going to be able to get your tickets if you're willing to do that. And there's a certain amount of tickets that are allocated just so to say for the general public, instead of like, you got to have this code, you got to do this, you got to go on this, you got to do that.
Download our app.
You got to sign up for the such and such club, and then you can, register a day early to blah, 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 blah. Like, I just want to buy the ticket.
That's all I want to give you my money.
I want to go to the show.
That's it.
I want to buy the ticket, and if I knew that I could go to a window and wait in line, I'd give it a shot.
Well, it was also like a tailgate, right? It's like HFS. Back where we grew up, like they had HF Festival, which is this massive music festival every year.
Yeah.
So like they had in 1999, they were like, we're going to have 2 because the world might end. And we were legit. We weren't, Y2K. So but when you would wait in line at the whatever music store it was in College Park, it was almost like a tailgate all night. As people are camping out, you're hanging out.
And it becomes a party.
Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely does.
But Miles is right. That's just what you did. And then you had to hope by the time you got to that.
Right.
They still had some there.
I remember as a kid, because most of the movie theaters only had 2 screens. It was a big deal if they had 4, right? But every time a new Star Wars movie came out, my mom made it up. We're going day of. And we would wait in that line for 3 hours. Did not care because I was like that excited to see the movie. So you could buy your tickets in advance. And the people formed a line while the other showing is going on. And you just waited and waited and waited. And they finally opened the doors. And we would bum rush and sit down and like, all that's done.
Look, we would we would drive to Pittsburgh and go to either Sam Goody or Tower Records. So, number one, you went there because you were buying music, right? But say you went there in the spring. So the idea was all the money that you saved up, you could buy all of your CDs, all of your cassettes, all of those things. But there was a ticket sale there as well.
Yep.
So it was an amphitheater called Star Lake Amphitheater, which is the equivalent of White River Amphitheater. And you'd say, okay, look, these are the shows that they've got booked right now. And we're going to buy tickets to this one, and this one. So by the time you left the record store, half the reason you went there was to get music. The other half
buy tickets
was because you're buying tickets to go to a show. And it was the coolest thing to go into because I would buy the stuff of the bands that
you're going to go see.
I bought the tickets for. Because I wanted to know their entire catalog. There's a couple things I didn't have. I wanted to.
Normal people
own it all.
Normal people don't do it, but the only thing I can think of sporting event that you still really wait for is students for student section tickets.
And that makes sense,
right? Like because Duke plays in that tiny little Cameron Indoor Arena, so they still have Sheseskyville or whatever they call it, or like, I mean, if you go to Penn State on like a whiteout weekend, I've been there, and there's kids camped out because they want
to. Students have to wait to buy tickets.
Because you get tickets, but if you want to be up front or have a good seat, like so for Duke, basically, if you don't wait as a student, you're probably not going to get a ticket.
You're not getting it, no.
And then Penn State's stadium's big enough, but those kids, you want to be. Look, my nephew's doing it right now, right? If it's anything Ole Miss, he wants to be there, and then that's what they do. They go to the stadium the night before. Plus, he's only 20, so whatever. It's not a fraternity. He's got like a whole little crew of friends, but his job on game day is him and his 2 other buddies have to get tickets, and they're the ice boys for the day.
Is Ole Miss are they part of that khaki button up T-shirt club?
If you're in a fraternity, I'm almost positive you wear khakis and a button.
All right.
But I think that's just the Greek culture.
Right.
What happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Eric. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So ago. This was the season for the Sounders right after COVID was lifted. I was lined up to get season tickets, so I was really excited. I got 2 season tickets. My wife doesn't care for soccer, but she was excited because I was excited. Both of us would go to games. You know, we made a whole day of it. But then playoffs rolled around. It was about late November. Started to get cold, and it was our game against Portland that season. It went to PKs, and the whole time she's just, "I'm cold. Can we go home? I'm cold. Can we go home?" And, you know, it's our biggest rival. It's PKs. I'm like, "No, we're not going home." After that game, we got home. She said, "I am never going to a Sounders game with you ever again."
How happy were you?
I mean, it was a good and a bad, you know, because we had fun. But I dropped my tickets down to 1, and I ended up moving next to my buddy and his dad. So it worked out, but she was not happy.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, too, with Sounder stuff, I had a season ticket forever. Is you get those, like, high 30s, like 38, just piss and rain.
That is bone-chilling
the worst. Yeah. And it seemed like during the Holmgren era, there were tons more snow games.
It does,
If you remember the Favre game where everybody's throwing snowballs, there was a Romo game where people were throwing snowballs. It seemed like the Holmgren era. Every time that December 25th game came around, it was always Arizona at home. That game always sucked. It's pouring down rain. It's freezing freaking cold. There's nowhere to hide if you're in the end zones. You're just exposed to the elements. Just freezing.
I will take the snow over that cold rain.
Easily, man. Yeah. The snow doesn't typically melt on you. I mean, the rain is just cold, and like you said, it's not cold enough to freeze, but it ain't warm enough to be a refreshment. One of the worst experiences I had was at a Seahawks game. For that same thing, man, around 38 degrees, pissing down rain. It's had to be 15 years ago, but they were playing the Ravens. Ravens were not good.
Oh, yeah, we were sitting beside Nada's family. I know exactly that game.
But the Hawks beat the piss out of the Ravens, so it already sucks. But I just remember I'm freezing watching this ass, and it's an ass kicking I expected, but I'm like, why am I here? Like, I knew the weather. I knew this was going to suck. I knew this was going to be a cold day. I knew my team was going to lose. And here I am, hands shaking inside of my pocket. Like, again, don't want to drink beer because I don't want to take my hand out of my pocket and drink it. And I'm like, this blows. This is freaking awful, man.
What happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
There is sometimes in sporting events, too, right? When the weather sucks, you're just like, I knew we were going to get whooped. Why did I do this?
Right. I knew my team was going to lose. I knew the weather was going to suck. And somehow I still told myself, go.
Yeah, like,
now I'm here.
I knew Oregon was going to wax my Maryland Terrapins in football this year.
No doubt about it.
But the weather turned out nice. The sun was out. They covered. We had a blast.
Yeah,
if it had been piss and rain that whole time,
it'd be a horrible movie.
We would have been like, that sucks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Amanda. Welcome to the men's room.
Guys.
Hola.
So, kind of a sad turn of events. It was a cold day. I was heading to work, going into the building. There were some stairs, and it was all icy, so I fall down before I get into the building. My boss at the time told me, hey, you got to go to the doc, get yourself checked out. So I did that. Part of me going to the doc was getting tested to make sure that I was sober and not being belligerent as I'm going up the stairs. It came back dirty. I didn't know why, but apparently 2 to 3 weeks before that, I have seizures. And so I had a seizure in my sleep, and then my then boyfriend was a pot smoker. He thought it a good idea while I was having a seizure in my sleep to blow some pot in my mouth to make me not seize any longer. And so there's that. That was one of my first time smoking pot that I didn't know.
But did it work?
My system. I have no idea. I just know I had a seizure, but I don't know.
So you came back dirty because your then boyfriend blew pot smoke in your face, essentially, while you were seizing.
Did you have a federal job or some kind of job where like, you can't, like a CDL, where that's way, way not cool?
So I was a program coordinator, so I didn't work with people, but it was for a memory care facility. And, I didn't even work with the patients necessarily. I was just, programming who was coming or who's going as far as events go. But they had to test me, and that was a new one for me. I didn't even know I smoked pot, so that was...
Well, did they deny did they deny your insurance claim because of that? Did they say, okay, you were high when you walked up those steps and slipped?
I didn't get hurt. Like, I wasn't injured enough to even file anything, but I lost my job.
How did you lost your job because of the dirty test?
Yes.
Oh,
On
my
the spot.
God.
I showed up to work one day, the next day after my doctor's appointment, that I didn't feel I didn't even need to go. Like, I wasn't injured, but they had to have me go.
Sure.
So there you go. And I basically lost a job because of it. I'm not with that guy anymore, by the way.
How long did it take you to piece together that that's how you ended up dirty? I mean, did you have to ask your boyfriend, like, why is there weed in my system?
Well, I was kind of naive before all this, and all I could think of was because he has I call them a vape stick, whatever those things are. Like, he had those, and he was smoking them all the time. So all I could think of at the time was, like, maybe I got some in my system because he's always smoking in the house.
Sure.
It was cold, So
I feel like if somebody's just constantly smoking bong hits or something in the house,
maybe. Yeah.
That's got to be it, too.
Did you tell me you have a better job now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have a great job.
And you have a better boyfriend now?
Yes.
Maybe this all was meant to be in some kind of weird way. I know probably not at the time, but, all things considered, in hindsight, maybe that was a good thing.
That was a crap way to lose your job.
Yeah, but
slip
you get a
on
better-
ice on the
Yeah,
stairs,
right, yeah.
fall down, come back dirty in spite of the fact that you don't do anything and then get fired.
But now you got a better job and a better boyfriend.
Well, sure.
I might take that off and do in advance. You mean to tell me all I need to do is fall down these steps and I'm going to have a better relationship and a better job? Boom, 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 boom.
I like the guy. It's like she sees it out. Better blow some smoke in her face.
Thanks, doctor.
See if that helps her.
What happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
Yeah, sure thing. Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yeah?
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient. Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL Limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Is your team at work feeling a little disconnected? Maybe the workflow's not flowing? Try Confluence by Atlassian. Confluence is the connected workspace where teams can create, organize, and deliver work like never before. In Confluence, teams can whiteboard their vision for any project, easily create or access the relevant pages and resources they need, and discover important context they might not even know they need. Plus, AI helps teams jumpstart brainstorms, organize information, and connect workflows, so teams can move efficiently and create alignment with ease. In fact, with Confluence, teams can see 5.2% average boost in productivity in 1 year. So if your team lacks confidence, try Confluence, the connected workspace where teams can do it all. Set knowledge free with Confluence. Learn more at Atlassian.com/Confluence. That's ATLASSIAN.com/CONFLUENCE.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. You can't predict sick days,
But with Kleenex lotion tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Whether it's a surprise sneeze or a stuffy nose, it's always good to have something gentle on hand. Kleenex lotion tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. I mean, why not have one less thing to worry about when you're not feeling your best? For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
9.9 KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Tara Daly, Steve makes from a Daily Makes Morning Show. Coming up, we'll sit and spin. Today we've got 10 actors that thought they were musicians and actually released serious albums. Okay, 10 actors that released music coming up at 4:30. Right after emails on our question, what happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Jason. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
You know, back in the day, my girlfriend, she used to drag me to the park to take her sunbathing. She'd wear her bikini, so I'd be like, all for it. But it would be so cold. It would remind me of the Ice Age. But all she'd get was goosebumps. She wouldn't catch much of a tan. She'd get a tiny little tan. But the worst part of it was the frozen dog dew. You know, they'd pick up these piles of dog dew. They'd put it in these bags. And they just drop the bags on the ground, and they'd freeze, and they wouldn't pick them up, and they turned into like these landmines. You know, I thought they outlawed landmines. You know, back in 2001. What was it?
I have no idea, bro.
Yeah. Why was she going to a park in the middle of the winter in a bikini?
Well, when the sun comes out, like it was today here in Portland, we got a little bit of sun. You can get just a little bit of sun and just a little bit of tan.
Okay. All right. Well, I would recommend not wearing that in the wintertime.
It's just a general thing. Exactly. Or do it in your home when the sunlight comes through the window.
Yeah, or, I mean, at that point, just go to use a tanning bed.
Although, he seemed like an idiot, so there's a good chance that the chick that he was dating is also an idiot.
What happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Steve. Welcome to the men's room.
Good afternoon.
Hola.
Hola. So my friend relayed this story to me, and I cannot remember the exact state. I think it was Wisconsin, Minnesota, somewhere in that part of the country. They had a baby sheep that didn't make it, but because it was so cold, it kind of was stiff and standing up and frozen, and they couldn't bury it because the ground was too hard. So they came up with the idea that somehow placing it at a nativity scene, because seeing it was around the holidays, would be
all right.
Like, hey, this will look like part of the set, and then that'll just be that. And then we can figure something out later. Well, I guess overnight and the next day when the folks came to attend church, it had thawed out somewhat, and they didn't really think about it. But, when folks arrived, they were a little disturbed by the sight of the nativity thing.
So I guess they could tell that the sheep itself was a real animal and everything around it was fake.
Yeah. Well, for a bit there when it was cold, you couldn't. But, yeah.
I mean, it's not bad thinking, man.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, we can't bury it. It's still standing up. Why not? Nativity scene.
You got to call an audible sometimes, and, when the weather changes quickly, I think the physical properties do as well. And,
No, like your friend's thinking, man. Yeah. Like, we can't bury it. Thing's frozen standing up. What the hell?
It belongs here.
Make a nativity scene.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know that would have crossed my mind. But like, what the hell with it?
Right.
Holidays are coming up. What else are we going to do? Lambsicles.
She's a whiz.
Well, you can fathom why people were thrown off.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, when it's still frozen solid, maybe you don't notice. But yeah, when it begins to thaw, kind of like, is that a real sheep out there? My God.
We're going to Texas. We brought this story yesterday. Port Arthur Police and Child Protective Services are both investigating a 25-year-old Port Arthur man because of his viral TikTok video. Now, the man, he is accused of using a baby to brush the snow off of his car earlier this week during that winter storm that went through southeast Texas. Police now believe this constitutes child endangerment.
Come on, guys.
They are not releasing the man's name, but the chief expects an arrest warrant to be issued sometime next week through the Jefferson County District's Attorney's Office. Police say the shocking recording of the video shows a 25-year-old man using a baby to remove snow from his Hyundai Elantra. We confirmed it was a 3-month-old baby in the middle of a winter storm. Sad situation. I know a lot of people go to social media and they're looking for clicks, but this is not a deal where you should put a baby on a windshield. Police were tipped off about the video and showed up the same day to question the man and check on the baby. He had 2 other females with him at the time. We suspect one of them was the mom. They checked the baby. Baby was just fine. Investigators are looking into the man's criminal history, but he's expected to be charged with child endangerment for doing this.
I mean, they can't really think he was using that for real outside of just being a joke.
Normal people do not. They obviously are very stupid, but we brought up the story yesterday and someone texted in. They said, would they be this upset if, baby's first snow and the kid's making snow angels? I said no. Because it's like, it has nothing to do about putting your kid in danger. I would rather use my kid to get snow off my windshield than drop them in snow for them to make snow angels. But because people find snow angels cute and the babies giggle, somehow that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? But the less snow on your kid, and obviously you're doing it as a joke, brushing the snow off of the windshield, like that they have a problem with. So it's just a matter of optics. If a kid makes a snow angel, I don't think it's a brilliant idea, but nobody cares.
Right.
Physically pick them up, brush snow off, and they're actually going to arrest this guy.
I was actually talking to a little baby this weekend, right? I don't know how old, maybe 5 months, 6 months old. Just giving me that blank stare. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, I'm sticking my tongue out, and nothing's working, and his dad's standing right there. So, I'm like, all right, let's teach it some words. So I dropped the F-bomb on him, all right? And the kid looks at me, and he finally smiles.
No, I know that one.
No, I started sticking my tongue out some more. Nothing. And I'm shaking him, like, ooh, blah, 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 blah. Nothing. Not even crack a smile.
Right.
I dropped the F-bomb again. Huge grin.
Really?
I don't know what it was. I was just like, ha-ha.
I like this kid.
I cracked the code. He was not old enough to know any real words, but yeah.
Man, I had a baby staring at me at the airport in Austin. And, I know that's what babies do, but this kid stared at me so long it started getting weird. Like babies stare. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I look back, kind of waved, smiled, did the thing, gave me like a half smile. And then I started reading the book. I look up and this kid is still staring at me. So now I'm like, how long is this mofo going to stare at me? So then I'm staring back. And like you said, nothing changes in this kid's expression at all. Stuck out my tongue again, wave to him again, half smile. I go back to my book, look back up. This kid is still staring at me. And I'm like, they need to do something with this baby. Like this kid's starting to freak me the F out, man.
Babies are fine. It's like that 3-year-old.
Because they're judging it.
Right. And they can talk. So it's like I dealt with it over the weekend. And she stared at me. Now I'm just like, hey, kid, just like, what is she going to say? Right? Because you could tell.
She had something to say.
She had something definitely to say.
I remember me and my buddy Tony, man. We're on a bus in Baltimore. We're teenagers. And so a woman gets on. She has her kid. Kid's maybe 3, I guess. And as kids want to do, he pops up on his knees, and so now he's facing us, right? And he's just doing a stare thing. No big deal. We keep talking. And I've never audibly, gasped at a child, but I cannot explain how ugly this kid was when he smiled. And I know it sounds mean, but this kid got real ugly when he smiled. It's kind of like a devil smile. Like, man, his brow furrowed, this whole thing. So he's just staring, but he's not smiling at this point. And Tony said something. And this kid got this big grin, and we're both like, Jesus! I'm telling you, man, this kid looked like the Antichrist when he smiled. It freaked us the F out.
What happened because it was cold? 206-803-ROCK.
I know it sounds bad. It really does. But I'm telling you, if you saw this kid and this kid smiled at you, you'd freak out too, man.
I just like talking to kids when they can't respond.
Sure.
It's like my buddy, I don't know, his kid's only, same thing, 7 months old or whatever. But we're watching football. Now, he's just turned the other way, not looking at the TV, and we're like, come on, man. Turn around. You want to watch football or not? And he's just like, playing with a toy. We're like, dude, come on, Phil.
Yeah, turn around, man. Watch the game. Learn something.
Pride.
Hello, Adam. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, we're going to go back to the 90s. I was in the Army, and we stationed down at Fort Knox, and we had some exercises to do. One day it was probably 5 to 7 degrees outside,
And we used to drive around these little troop carrier vehicles that the top would open in the back, and then driver sat up front and all that. Well, the person who was telling me where to go and what to do was very clear that they did not want to go anywhere near this big muddy pond that was over there and was mostly frozen over. And I thought it would be entertaining. Needless to say, a wave of muddy water, the splash guard, I didn't put it down. Wave of this muddy, slushy water came inside the vehicle, covered it all. I was lucky they didn't kill me on spot because everybody got drenched. And because of the temperature, the vehicle wash was closed, so I had to stay out there for almost 16 hours by hand with a bucket of water, a little bit at a time, cleaning the inside of that vehicle out.
16 hours?
It was horrible. The next day I got done with that, went to chow, and I had to be right back at working again.
Oh, man. Well, how long did it take you to realize you made a bad mistake?
I still think it was funny to see them all drenched in mud. So, I mean...
Worth it in the end?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. That's typically how these things work. Like, something catastrophically stupid happens. It kind of ruins your day. It ruins your mood. But somehow in the back of your head, like, look, man, in a week, you're going to laugh your ass off about this. And I realize that when you have conversations with the kids, they'll bring up something like, Dad, do you remember... or what happened at the time. And as you're retelling the story, I realize I'm laughing out loud, but when I go back to that moment, like, wow, guys, I was pissed, man. They're like, we know you were. Like,
didn't you and your brother almost kill each other inside of an igloo? Like carbon monoxide poisoning?
Yeah. Snowed a bunch. So two things. Number one, we built an igloo in the front yard, right? And we spent it like there was like the bricks.
The bucket you fill up with snow?
It was almost the same. Yeah, it was like a red thing, that the same K-Tel company that made like the little mini
exactly.
skis.
You could make bricks. Mm-hmm. So we took the time. I mean, we dug all the way in there. And then I remember my mom was like, do not break my giant like spoons or whatever. We broke two of them in the process, obviously.
Right.
And then, we were just kids and weren't thinking. So we were down in the grass part of it. We had some leaves. So we were like, oh, let's start a fire in here. But we didn't build a chimney. So it quickly became engulfed in smoke, and we almost died. It like crawl out.
You didn't put a hole in the top for the smoke to go out.
Miles, it never dawned on us as kids that you needed a chimney.
Okay, all right.
Right, because there's the door in. Like, we just thought we were geniuses that we were like, oh, we have a little patch of grass. First of all, if my parents knew we were burning leaves in the front yard.
I was going to say, that would be the initial problem, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, that igloo stuck up for a while. As you know, like snow melts or whatever, but I mean, we had built that thing solid.
Nice.
We were scared to death of it, though.
You didn't go back in after that?
I never went back in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We go to upstate, Steve. Forest rangers and environmental conservation officers used sleds and chainsaws to rescue a bull moose that had fallen through the ice on a frozen lake. The State Department of Environmental Conservation and officers responded to a call about a moose in Lake Abenaki. It's about 100 miles northwest of Albany. They observed the moose in the lake surrounded by ice and unable to get out of the water. An airboat was sent to help, but officers, realizing the moose might not be able to survive much longer in the frigid water, they ventured out on the ice. Now, they were wearing their cold water rescue suits that would protect them if they fell into the lake, and they cut a path through the ice with chainsaws. The moose was around 200 feet from shore. So they said there's no training manual for getting moose out of the ice. The officers, they were on sleds to help spread their weight, used the sleds to guide the moose out of the water. We pushed the jet sleds that we had up to it close, and for whatever reason, it was scared of those. So once we got behind it, we were able to direct it. By the way, the moose weighed over 1,000 pounds.
Good God.
It eventually made it to shore. It had been treading water in the lake for around 2 hours, and because of that, it was really tired and shivering and did not have much energy left. We didn't know if it was going to be able to stand up or not, but after about 15 minutes being on the shore, it got up and walked into the woods. It was just an amazing sight to see that huge of a moose stand up right in front of us.
Man, people, listen, headlines all week are about people rescuing animals, all right? So, wildlife officers rescue 30 cold-stunned sea turtles in Florida, all right? Because it's so cold, the turtles don't know. Deer rescued from frigid waters and Potomac River. Where's the other one that I saw just today?
It was a case of a manatee that was saved out of a starting to freeze canal in Florida. They moved it to an aquarium.
Firefighters rescued 600-pound donkey that fell through the ice.
600-pound donkey?
Okay, that's what I was thinking, man. Like I said, I'm a donkey apologist after meeting the lovely and late Pokey. Rest your soul, bro. There's no way that thing weighed 600 pounds. I don't know if that's heavy for a donkey. That seems awfully heavy. But again, yeah, this is in Pennsylvania. Donkey
I guess
fell
they
through
can
the
get
ice.
up to 1,000 pounds.
Good God, man.
Depending on the size of that donkey.
Fat asses.
Yeah, big fat ass. That's kind of ass I got.
Going back to sleeping in igloos and whatnot when I was in Scouts, we did one camp out that I can remember where we were trying to make our own. I suppose they're not ice caves, but it was we needed to make our own shelter. There was one group that did. There was one pair that did. It was a father and son. They actually made this snow cave and they slept in it. They did everything right. I loved the Scoutmaster. He was probably one of my favorites. God rest his soul. But he was also one of the best teachers that we ever had. And there's actually a still image that we have from him that I was long since in bed at this point, but he had actually sat around the campfire just chatting it up with other Scoutmasters and Scouts that were all there, just teaching and just swapping stories and whatnot. And I remember he had this thermos that he had tea in it, I believe.
Right.
And there's actually a still shot image of him because he had talked so long after he had made this tea that he was able to lift up his thermos with the string of the tea bag.
You're right.
Because it was that cold outside. Frozen solid at the top. It was great.
Damn. God, yeah, man. I do not miss cold weather, but it's weird. When I lived in Rochester, it was so cold so often you don't realize it's cold. So, but at 40 degrees in January, people went out in shorts and they washed the car, they mowed the lawn. I mean, it felt like summertime. So in my mind, when I hear 40 degrees, just from childhood, I feel like it's going to be warm. It's not at all. I mean, I went outside earlier today. I'm a smoker. It's 45? Mm-hmm. Still freezing my ass off. I've absolutely no longer am I acclimatized to that at all.
Well, it also depends on where you are, right? That's one of the things at Burning Man. You're in the desert.
Yeah.
So during the day, it's 100-some degrees. And then at night, sometimes, you don't get into the 60s, which I know does not sound cold.
But you're in the desert.
But when you've been in the desert and it's dropped 40 degrees, by nighttime, you're like, oh, my God, hell,
you could be
freezing.
You could be at the gorge, and when that sun goes over over the river, man, I mean, the temperature seems to drop 20 degrees. Doesn't matter when. You could be in August. But all of a sudden, you go from I got a suntan, and I'm burned, to I have a sunburn, and now I am freezing because of that and the combination of the fact that it just dropped 20 degrees.
Man, we got frozen out this last year out at the Gorge. We went and saw Luke Combs out in October. Last show at the Gorge for the year. Oof. And they had a bad windstorm roll through there. It delayed the show just because the wind was so bad out there, right? So, and
right, Friday night, it was almost like he wasn't going to play.
It was very, very close of him not playing. The opener got out there, was able to do their show. Parker McCullum, I think, was next, and he got delayed by an hour. They kept going out on stage. We showed up late because we didn't really care about anybody else. We just wanted to see Luke Combs.
Yeah.
So we show up there, and we keep getting this announcement from the stage, we're not canceling the show. I know people are saying it. We're not canceling the show. Right now, it's just delayed. And Luke was supposed to come out at 9. They delayed him all the way to 10:30, and it is just ice cold wind that's blowing through there. I mean, we're just all penguin together, just trying to defend ourselves against the wind. There's a shop that's there that kicked everybody out because everybody was trying to
just going in there to get warm.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not actively buying something, get out of the shop.
I've heard that many times.
Freezing our ass off out here, man.
Tara Daly, Steve Mix from the Daily Mix Morning Show coming up. We're going to sit and spin. We've got 10 actors that release music at 4:30. And your email's coming up next in the men's room at KISW.com.
Presented by T-Mobile, the official wireless partner of Odyssey Sports. With an awesome network and great savings, there's never been a better time to join T-Mobile. Visit your neighborhood store to make the switch today.
Do you know about the true crimes that inspired a Bruce Springsteen album? Or the murders AC/DC was blamed for? How about Taylor Swift's Violent Stalkers? Or the suspicious deaths of Brittany Murphy and River Phoenix? These stories and more are told in the Disgraceland podcast, hosted by me, Jake Brennan, every Tuesday, where I dive deep into subjects from the dark side of music history and entertainment. So follow and listen to Disgraceland on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Dreaming of a 6-night getaway to paradise? Escape to the islands of Tahiti and Moorea with Air Tahiti Nui, the world's most immersive travel experience. This all-inclusive vacation package is designed to take you to a tropical haven, starting with nonstop flights from Los Angeles or Seattle to Tahiti. From the vibrant cabins to the warmth of our Polynesian crew, you will be transported to Tahiti from the moment you step on board. Your package includes luxurious hotel stays, ensuring that your experience is as comfortable as it is enchanting. Start each day with a delicious Polynesian breakfast. Enjoy exciting excursions that showcase the beauty and culture of the islands, and take advantage of convenient transfers that make your trip seamless from start to finish. All of this begins at just $26.95 per person. Whether you're looking to explore crystal clear waters, unwind on pristine beaches, or immerse yourself in rich Polynesian culture, Tahiti and Moorea offer endless possibilities for both adventure and relaxation. Call 1-877-468-2448 now to book your Tahiti and Moorea escape.
Lovers wants to know, ever forget Valentine's Day in the past? Need to make up for it? Do it and them right this time with the perfect pleasure present from Lovers stores. Whether you're looking for spicy toys, alluring lingerie, or exciting accessories, Lovers has it all. Save 20% when you mention unforgettable at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until February 28th. Some exclusions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. When that pipe starts to trickle and you're in a real pickle, call Pinky. When that burst pipe starts to smell ripe, call Pinky. When your water heater's shot and it won't get hot, call Pinky. When you get home to a flood, call your best bud. Pinky's Plumbing to the rescue. No job is too big or too small. Pinky's does it all. So when your plumbing backs up and things get stinky, call Pinky's. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know. The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Having a little party there, and hopefully you can join us and have a beer as we celebrate 20 years here on The Rock with the brand new Men's Room 20th Anniversary Lager. And a lunch party's going down Friday, February 7th. We're going to broadcast live from the Black Raven Brewing Facility in Woodinville from 2 until 6. So hopefully you'll get a chance to join the live show. You're going to be part of the entire thing with a live studio audience. It's absolutely free. Come up and try the new beer. If you haven't got a chance yet, man, try the Men's Room IPA in the bright yellow can. That thing is still on fire as far as people buying it. That is an unbelievably great beer. Had one the other night. By the way, if you are in the Fremont area, it is on tap at the Pacific Inn down on Stone Way, which is one of the better places on a cold day to go in there and get yourself a fish sandwich and a Men's Room IPA. So we got some locations coming up. Also coming up, Taryn Daly and Steve Mix from the Daily Minix Morning Show. We're going to sit and spin with 10 actors that released music. But first, time for a few emails from the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got
And a couple from our question, guys. The cold allowed me to get revenge on a coworker who was trying to prank me. I fell asleep at a party, and she attempted to tag my face. Well, months later, during a cold snap, I iced her car with 4 big buckets of water, just cold enough that she couldn't open the doors or scrape the windows. It took an hour to thaw out her car enough to be able to head home. None of my coworkers tried to prank me after that. That from Big Pun in Kennewick. Guys, I was waiting for the school bus one chilly morning, and my stomach bubbled in that familiar way. Well, I had 15 minutes till the bus, so I just ran back to my home. In making my way home, I slid on some black ice and messed myself. Well, needless to say that I missed the bus that day. Rock on, guys. That from Skylar. And let's see. Birthdays. It's Junior Coons, pronounced Mila's 3rd birthday. Please have Miles give us his best You Go Girl, a few thrill shotgun gets, and finally some Mickey and Goofy telling her about her awesome Disneyland trip. Hell, throw in a couple fart noises since I just got done cleaning up her poopy shorts. Appreciate you guys very much. Jaw love, that from Coon. You go, girl. Get.
Well, gosh, there, little friend. We can't wait to see you in the happiest place on earth. And we know your dad's decided he plans on spending all of his money because nothing we sell is cheap.
You know, one of the big things about coming to the world is staying on property. Your dad has promised you will stay there. One of our lovely properties. And every day, you get breakfast with a character. And then at night, you get free ice cream. Well, Dad's paying for it. Either way, that's probably the best party ever at Disney World or Disneyland. Have fun, kid. Ha-ha.
You know, Ted, I've been to Disneyland. I don't know that you can stay on property. Maybe you can't. Maybe there's a hotel out front. But it doesn't seem like that Disney World type of experience where you're actually...
It's not very big.
Because you're in Anaheim, you're kind of pigeoned in. I don't know if you can...
California Adventure, maybe?
I don't know if there was a hotel there. I mean, there's hotels everywhere around it, like Huntington Beach and all those areas. I just don't know.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking of Disney World.
There's actually a hotel down there.
I'll tell your dad not to be cheap.
Yeah.
And bring your dad to Disney World.
Either way, every hotel down there is going to be a little more expensive.
Now there's a Disneyland hotel.
Is there?
4-star hotel.
Ooh, okay. Well, excuse us. Okay, Coon, you're good to go.
By the way, I know nobody from here would ever fly all the way to Hershey, Pennsylvania to go to Hershey Park.
I want to.
It is kind of fun. It's a good amusement park. Plus, you get to see how chocolate's made. But hands down, the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in is Hotel Hershey.
Really?
Unbelievable. It's super expensive. I mean, it's a 5-star hotel.
Huh.
You get turned down service with a chocolate bar.
That might be the only 5-star hotel in a 75-mile radius of Hershey Park.
Is it a chocolate-themed facility?
No, you got to remember, Mr. Hershey and his wife could not bear children.
Oh.
Right.
So for years, the money just went into this orphanage and then it didn't go anywhere. So they built a crazy hotel way back in the day. And it's like stepping back in history.
Is that why Almond Joy has nuts and Mounds don't?
Not sure.
Okay.
That had to do when they got into the Hershey's in Hawaii.
Gentlemen, please wish our Uncle Terry a very happy birthday. He would love a big old bong rip and the captain telling his favorite, wildest birthday story. Thanks from Dennis, Jessica, and the kids.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. I have the story you're looking for. I can't divulge too much information based for what they call legal issues, but it involves the Jolly Green Giant, Yogi Bear, a bucket of armpits, and a hobo named Ronaldo. Now, I can't get into the specifics, but it turns out that the authorities of Mozambique don't have the same sense of humor or spirit of adventure that us mascots do. Oh, and we were sticky in places we shouldn't have been sticky. Crunch berries.
Wow. Marcello, today's my 58th trip around our future black hole. Can I get some dad jokes from Miles, the captain, and Coach Ted explaining why I won't get laid? Thanks, guys. Love the show. That from Giron, the Bonnie Lake Lab Rat. All right, Lab Rat. Here's some dad jokes. What do you call two octopuses that look the same? Two octopi that look the same.
Twin?
Tentacles?
Tentacles.
Oh, good work, Mike.
Yes. Oh, here's a good one. Do you know what Beyonce was called before she got married?
Fiance.
Fiance, that is correct. What do you call a mom climbing the stairs? What do you call a mom climbing the stairs?
Stepmother?
Stepmother. Guys, actually, I can kind of sympathize with batteries. I'm not included in anything either. Oh. Have you heard about the book that teaches masturbation?
No.
By Manually Done? And Ted, bad news, she told me to never call her again.
Oh, yeah?
I've been calling her Kristen the entire time.
All right. Why you're not getting laid? Well, first of all, with that attitude, you're never going to get laid. 58 years old? That's not that old. What are you down there being a lab rat in Old Bonnie Lake? You know, there's a few spots down there. You can pick up a little filly yourself. It's going to have the right attitude, all right? We're going in there, positive thinking. You know what? You put that condom in your back pocket right now.
Damn right. Ooh, well, ahoy there. If you need to borrow any condoms, the old Capitan has them on them. Although I do charge extra if you want one that wasn't used. Although I disagree with the coach, I think you probably have quite the positive attitude. I mean, the only reason I don't get laid is because if you're like me, it'll be because of the narcotic mixture of bat urine, Clorox, baking soda, toe jam, and Norwegian reindeer gums mixed with aerosol. It makes it difficult to maintain an erection. Crunch berries.
Well, today I would like to wish a very happy birthday to my better half, Gina. She's celebrating her 59th birthday. Please give her a Geez Louise, a happy Chinooka, maybe the Dirty German explaining why she likes hockey so much. And if there's time, have Mike do Prince Charles sing, "Your greatest achievement is to love me." Thanks for all the laughs, guys. And from Rodney, Dakota, Apple, and from Ginger.
Jeez Louise. Happy Chinooka.
Yeah, I think the reason she likes hockey so much is because, like any woman, she likes a good puck.
Yeah. So the thing is, sometimes they hit her in the face.
Yeah.
Your greatest achievement is to love me.
Can you imagine one of those singing birthday cards? You open it, and that's what you do.
Happy birthday to you.
Sounds like you had a stroke. Men's room. My wife is 59 today. Yes, she's old, but she's prettier than me and sexier than any other woman I've seen. I love you, darling. Please give her the captain, telling her about the women he finds sexy, and the Dirty Germans letting her know what she's in for tonight. Thanks, guys. That from Tim.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. As far as the old Capitan, I'm not picky. I do like me a 59-year-old woman, that's for sure, but if I had my druthers, and I can't find this on the Pornhub tab, but I'm kind of into one-legged dwarves of Peruvian descent who collect human teeth in pickle jars. He just gets the old captain's motor on it. But in a pinch, me and Ted will team up and head out for some dank Tomas. She might not be able to fit in the lift, but like I say, it's not what you can fit in, but what you can fit on. Crunch berries.
Thanks, Cam.
You got it, Ted.
Yeah, es ist birthday, it's a 59th birthday, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the next year will be a good one. Because 59 because just means you do all the work.
Yeah. And I think as far as what you can expect tonight, probably disappointment.
Oh, yeah. So what's the words as used in America? It's premature.
Yeah.
All right, guys, here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ja, the Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
What is Dax, are you?
Tracking all our cars on Carvana Value Tracker on all our devices? Yes, Kristen, yes, I am.
Well, I've been looking for my phone for...
In Dax's domain, we see all. So we always know what our cars are worth.
All of them?
All of them. Value surge, trucks up 3.9%.
That's a great offer.
I know. Sell?
Sell.
Track your car's value with Carvana Value Tracker today.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Coming up at 5:08, we will drink a toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check out with Mike Hogg and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Well, thank you, Miles. There's a shocking new study that both men and women prefer younger partners.
Shocking.
They did a study.
Shocking.
Right.
You mean like you observed things, or you actually did a study?
Right. What do you know? People younger than you tend to be more attractive.
Huh.
Women too, huh?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Uh-huh. Stunning.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's all about.
My gabbers are flabbers.
I know. Clutch my pearls. Let me sit down. Where's my painting couch?
China is hosting the first ever foot race between humans and robots.
Okay.
Somebody had to, I guess.
I guess, but it just, like, eventually a human can only run so fast, so if I build a robot that can run 26 miles an hour, it's going to win.
Right. And
But does it keep its balance the whole way? I think that's more the thing they want to see. Like, all right.
all right.
You know, because they tip over a lot, all this kind of thing. Obviously, it has more stamina than you.
Sure.
You know, if you're running full tilt.
But to be honest with you, if it's a race, can I just build a robot with crazy long legs?
I mean, in theory,
you know what I mean?
It just takes one giant step.
There you go. Ta-da, I win. I feel like after a while, you can just construct the robot that's faster than a man.
That's like, remember the robot they had, said last year that like couldn't miss a jump shot?
Oh, yeah.
But the robot didn't really move.
Right.
So it's like, well, if I put Steph Curry in one spot, like I'm pretty sure he's going to hit a bunch of threes in a row.
Yeah.
Nobody giving him pressure whatsoever. He's just shooting free throws.
Yeah. That's like, you ever see like videos of like NBA players and like random ass pickup games? Like, they're just amazing because it's like, right, there's not other NBA pros on them.
Right.
They don't miss.
Right. They're playing at this point. They're actually having fun. Yeah. This doesn't work. There's a new list of the most attractive jobs a potential partner can have.
Ooh. Most attractive jobs?
Radio didn't make it, fellas.
Someone in scrubs.
Healthcare is number one. Good job there, Mike.
Well, I don't care if you're a vet tech. I mean, you're in scrubs.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to put a list together of jobs that are red flags.
Ooh.
Hairdresser.
I feel like that's on the other side. I feel like there's
Salon
got to be a
owner.
list. You know what? Maybe that's tomorrow's list. There's a number of the jobs that are red flags.
All right.
But they went with...
Mortician.
Yeah, they went healthcare number one, followed by education, emergency response workers, law workers, business workers, science, tech, and finance.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all sexy stuff.
Hot stuff, baby.
Kind of cool to say I'd date a fireman.
I'd date a
It'd
fireman.
be interesting for you to say that.
Yeah.
Meet John.
Yeah, she carries me up the stairs at night when I'm tired.
A new study revealed that heavy cannabis use could indeed affect your memory. Fun fact.
What? Wow, they just did a study on that, huh?
Repeat that again.
Man, oh man, I haven't heard that my entire life.
Somebody should do a study on it.
We forgot the last one.
Yeah.
What was the study again?
Right. But just in case, you didn't know that, I've got more fun facts.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 fun and fascinating facts about the devil's lettuce, Mary Jane, cannabis. The last time I tried the marijuana, it was 13 years ago at the hands of Miles Montgomery. He asked me late on a Friday evening if I needed to be creative, then to take a pull on this. I was hesitant, but he was insistent. Begrudgingly, I took a puff and was in moments so outrageously affected I couldn't complete the last few tasks of my day. I went home, passed out for 5 hours, and had to come in on a Saturday. God damn, the pusher man.
No, Miles doesn't push weed on anybody.
Never have done that.
Totally doesn't just abandon people after he gets them violently high either.
I can still see your face in that crowd, Mike.
Oh my God.
I was down in the field playing with the kids.
You're already gone.
You were gone. You were out of
You
the
left
building.
at halftime.
But I came back.
No, you didn't.
I didn't.
No.
God.
You abandoned him.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
You abandoned me, Miles.
Yeah.
You left me out to dry.
I think I was with VD.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. You two jamokes were walking on back, and I'm just sitting there just maintain. Just look at the field.
Pretty sure I got
try to
him
look the
high. I
same
think I
direction
got him
other
high
people
that
are
night,
looking.
too.
I was on the floor because we're watching arena football in Spokane.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning against the pads, and I look up. I go, oh, Christ. He's alone up there. Like, who knows where Montgomery is? We had to walk. I had to like text Mike, like, just stay in your seat. And he's like, I can't do anything else.
I can't do anything.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we'll come up and get you at the end of third quarter.
I remember he had me smoke in the hotel room. That was the first time I had smoked anything ever in my life, by the way. And so I'm confident hacking. Of course, Montgomery hands me a beer. Here, drink this. That'll make you feel better.
Didn't we have like a bunch of those really strong edibles too?
I did not have any of those.
Oh, I think I took a couple of those.
Ted, I think, took a couple of those before the car ride over.
I definitely ate one of those in the car ride over. That was a quick arch thrill. I laughed hysterically at nothing, ate fast food, then passed out.
Yes, yeah, right. Long trip to Spokane. Anyway, so there's some fun facts about the devil's lettuce there. Let's see. The word canvas is linked to the word cannabis because canvases were traditionally made of hemp.
Okay, makes sense.
Makes sense. I like that. Been a minute since I've had something that was made of canvas. I feel like it's still one of the most dependable materials out there.
Yeah, but those are those big old school army tents, man. They weigh like 100.
Oh my God,
200 pounds, man.
Yes.
I used to have some shirts that were made out of hemp. They were super soft.
Hell yeah. Good material. Bob Marley was actually buried with his Bible, his guitar, and a butt of marijuana.
And I bet you if you open that thing up, the marijuana's gone somehow, but the guitar...
He smoked it when he was dead.
Just lit up one more.
I'm dead.
And that's not shocking. That guy, you buried him with weed.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who's the guy that put the nug in there?
I bet you it was the smallest little pinch. Dude's like, I got a lot of weed, bro. Okay. Symbolically, I got to put this in there.
Put a baseball in my grandma's casket.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
She liked baseball.
Just a baseball? Was it signed by anybody?
All the cousins signed it.
Nice work, man. I dig it. That's awesome.
Probably worth something now.
The first item sold over the internet. You guessed it. It was a bag of weed.
I believe college campus.
Really? That's exactly right.
Yep.
Over 40 years ago, Stanford students used ARPANET, I believe. It's an early form of the internet to buy weed from their counterparts at MIT. Hey, man, you guys got weed over there?
Of course we do, man.
And, of course, nobody's monitoring it because nobody knows how it works.
You don't even know it exists.
No. Criminy. It says here in college, Barack Obama was a member of a group of boys called the Choom Gang who smoked pot and played basketball.
He's in Hawaii.
Was
Hot Box.
Was it really?
Yeah, swear to God. It was either in college or high school. They're like, oh, his nickname was Hot Box. His brother just sat in the car and just got high.
Nobody skips Barry-O.
How do you slow that man down even further in his speech, though?
And that's probably why it started. The reason I'm talking like this, because I don't really remember the next word that I plan to say.
He's got to do some sort of a report in front of the class, and he's just blitzed out of his mind like, hang on. I got this.
And George Bush, he gave no qualms about what he liked.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Cocaine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He readily admitted it when he was president.
Yeah.
You know, I like riding. But he talks like the guy that would sell it.
Yeah, he does. I mean, it sounds like a dude that likes his cocaine.
Hey, you like that stuff? I got some.
I got you.
I know, Terry.
I'll hook you right up. Oh, no, not Terry. Terry's got the coke.
Just wait till he gets here.
They believe Shakespeare may have smoked pot. Researchers found traces of cannabis in pipes unearthed from his garden.
I promise you, he smoked weed.
I swear, man, it's a comedy. People are going to laugh their asses off. Yeah, like if I'm stoned, I'm like, all right, yeah, I see what he's doing. All right, yeah. No, dude, she stabs herself, but the dude's actually alive.
Comedy. You see why it's funny? See how it's funny now?
I got that backwards. She killed herself because okay.
Somebody should really tame that thing.
Oh, that's true.
Billy, you're right.
No, man, he just talks with his skull.
He's stoned too, man.
Oh, damn it. No, man, I'm just going to write it down. I don't want to have anything else written down other than just going to have to figure it out.
I don't even talk the way I write.
All right, do it that way this time.
Years from now, people will care.
No sense. One big stage.
Make it round, man.
Jesus. Make it round. This is the number one fun fact about the devil's lettuce, marijuana. The ancient Egyptians used cannabis to treat hemorrhoids, inflammation, and pain. They also used it in suppositories and ointments. So good news what you can do with your weed.
Blow this up your skirt, man.
Never heard of boofing weed. Other stuff.
Hey, man, my ass hurts. Blow some of that smoke up in there.
Come on, man. Help me out.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel better already.
That's soothing.
Now my hemorrhoids are laughing.
You got to be one good friend to do that for somebody.
All right, dude. Here it comes.
Bend over.
Open wide, bro. Doggone it. Police in New York finally found the man that shot and injured one of their officers, and you won't believe who it was, Miles.
Oh, my. Who was that?
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, we made it to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Good time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk. And Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today's shot is brought to you by our friends at Black Raven Brewery. Now, today we toast the UK's Royal Navy. They launched a frantic search for a phantom Russian submarine off the coast of Scotland after picking up two mysterious sounds in the ocean. Naval officials, they feared that one of Russia's drone subs had deployed a listening device onto the ocean floor about 100 miles from where the UK's Doomsday subs are based. It also sparked fears that Russia's deep-sea research unit, known as GUJI, was trying to record acoustic signatures of British subs to make them easier to track. And these are all fundamental things that you should be worried about given the state of the world. But in the end, turned out it was a false alarm after they determined that the two mysterious sounds that they picked up were the result of a farting whale. Oh. That is right. The whale did not fart once, it farted twice, and for whatever reason, they're like, that is a Russian sub. Then they found out, no, that's a gassy whale. But I like it. They said, look, we know it sounds silly, but all things considered, when we see signatures like that, man, we have to investigate. So as ridiculous as everyone thinks it is, we were quite relieved. They didn't find it funny, but they said we're quite relieved that it was a farting whale and not a Russian drone sub.
Is that like a blue whale, you think?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to like...
Just because they're so big, and
or
again...
a sperm whale, maybe?
Well, remember, the blue whales dive so deep, we don't really know what they're doing.
So I don't know
and
that you pick up
enough.
one of their fart. You think as deep as they dive, I don't even know if you would detect a blue whale fart. Then again, blue whales are so large that I feel like it could be 2,000 miles away farts, and you'd be like, who farted?
That's what I'm thinking. It's just so big that it like you're like, look at that sound, look at the size of that. That's got to be a sub.
it's a farting whale.
Pardon me.
Do you think it's just like one big boom, or do you think it's like a ripple of bubbles?
I don't know, but it's making me question what the Russians got going on.
It's loud enough to hear.
You think his buddy's like, you felt like a Russian sub, man. So
that would be alarming too. Like, oh Christ, here it is. They're on our soil.
Right.
Like, no, dude, it's a whale.
It's a whale, bro. It's a gassy whale.
Chill out.
It was louder than that. It was deeper than that.
Sounded like a diesel motor on a troll boat.
Is that the Russians?
Just me, mate. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hole of bitch. Let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This now. 206-803-ROCK. Profile This is next.
Is your team at work feeling a little disconnected? Maybe the workflow's not flowing? Try Confluence by Atlassian. Confluence is the connected workspace where teams can create, organize, and deliver work like never before. In Confluence, teams can whiteboard their vision for any project, easily create or access the relevant pages and resources they need, and discover important context they might not even know they need. Plus, AI helps teams jumpstart brainstorms, organize information, and connect workflows, so teams can move efficiently and create alignment with ease. In fact, with Confluence, teams can see 5.2% average boost in productivity in 1 year. So if your team lacks confidence, try Confluence, the connected workspace where teams can do it all. Set knowledge free with Confluence. Learn more at Atlassian.com/Confluence. That's ATLASSIAN.com/CONFLUENCE.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues.
You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex lotion tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Whether it's a surprise sneeze or a stuffy nose, it's always good to have something gentle on hand. Kleenex lotion tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. I mean, why not have one less thing to worry about when you're not feeling your best? For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
Presented by T-Mobile, the official wireless partner of Odyssey Sports. With an awesome network and great savings, there's never been a better time to join T-Mobile. Visit your neighborhood store to make the switch today.
Hey, I'm Ben Stiller.
I'm Adam Scott.
And we make a TV show called Severance. On January 17th, Severance is back for season 2 on Apple TV+, and we can't wait for you guys to see it.
And before the premiere, Ben and I are going to be binging season 1 and putting out daily recap podcasts.
Yep. Each weekday beginning January 7th, we'll be dropping an episode featuring exclusive behind-the-scenes tidbits and brilliant insights from our cast and crew and us.
Patricia Arquette, Britt Lauer, Zach Cherry, John Turturro, the list goes on.
All your favorite Lumen employees, their friends, families, enemies, in your feed every single weekday.
And here's the best part. After that, we're going to keep going. Tune in weekly as we recap every episode of Season 2. The podcast drops on the same day the episode comes out.
It's the Severance Podcast with Ben and Adam.
On Apple Podcasts, the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Dreaming of a 6-night getaway to paradise? Escape to the islands of Tahiti and Moorea with Air Tahiti Nui, the world's most immersive travel experience. This all-inclusive vacation package is designed to take you to a tropical haven, starting with nonstop flights from Los Angeles or Seattle to Tahiti. From the vibrant cabins to the warmth of our Polynesian crew, you will be transported to Tahiti from the moment you step on board. Your package includes luxurious hotel stays, ensuring that your experience is as comfortable as it is enchanting. Start each day with a delicious Polynesian breakfast. Enjoy exciting excursions that showcase the beauty and culture of the islands, and take advantage of convenient transfers that make your trip seamless from start to finish. All of this begins at just $26.95 per person. Whether you're looking to explore crystal clear waters, unwind on pristine beaches, or immerse yourself in rich Polynesian culture, Tahiti and Moorea offer endless possibilities for both adventure and relaxation. Call 1-877-468-2448 now to book your Tahiti and Moorea escape.
Lovers wants to know, ever forget Valentine's Day in the past? Need to make up for it? Do it and them right this time with the perfect pleasure present from Lovers stores. Whether you're looking for spicy toys, alluring lingerie, or exciting accessories, Lovers has it all. Save 20% when you mention unforgettable at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until February 28th. Some exclusions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. When that pipe starts to trickle and you're in a real pickle, call Pinky. When that burst pipe starts to smell ripe, call Pinky. When your water heater's shot and it won't get hot, call Pinky. When you get home to a flood, call your best bud. Pinky's Plumbing to the rescue. No job is too big or too small. Pinky's does it all. So when your plumbing backs up and things get stinky, call Pinky's. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Thrillhill, could you please start everyone out? Profile This is played.
Oh, I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Matt. Welcome to the Men's Room. Hello, Matt.
Uh-oh. Matt.
No, Matt. Okay. It's like we're playing amongst ourselves.
Let's try one more time. Hello, Matt. And there we go. All right. Well, you heard the instructions, gentlemen. You'll be playing against each other. And like I said, you have one of 3 categories today. We offer you the wonderful world of drugs. Is that our boy Matt calling back there? Or do we know?
Yep, that's it.
All right, Matt is calling back.
He can do this.
Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hola, bichola.
Hola. You are so easy to get in contact with. All right, Matt, you understand how this here game is played?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, today you have your choice of one of three categories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem. And finally, we have Seriously, where you guess the petty conflict that led to extreme violence. Matt.
Yeah, I'm still here. Let's go with the first one.
Drugs. All right, Matt, here's the story. A woman was arrested in Upshur County after deputies said she was driving her children around while high and had explosives in the car. 32-year-old Ashley Galloway, she was stopped with two children, ages 3 and 5, after deputies noticed the registration plate light was out. After she stopped, deputies said she displayed extremely erratic movements and behavior, that her physical motions were rigid and uncontrollable, that her pupils were dilated, and that she was unable to follow simple directions. Now, deputies found a container with drugs in it, and at that moment, that's when she started to scream about bombs being in the vehicle with the two children. Well, 2 CO2 cartridges with a green ignition fuse protruding from the metal cartridges were in fact found in the sunglasses holder of the vehicle, which deputies say are used to make pipe bombs or similar explosive devices. Galloway told deputies she was taking the devices to the magistrate's office to obtain a protection order against her husband, who she said made the devices. Well, another bag of drugs was also found in the car after deputies continued their search. So she was charged with child neglect, 2 counts of possession of a destructive device, DUI of a controlled substance, DUI with a minor, and possession of drugs. The question is, what drug was she high on? Was it heroin? Was it bath salts? Was it crack? Or was it meth? So heroin, bath salts, crack, or meth?
Got to go with bath salts.
Bath salts. Okay.
You said the county. Where's Upshur County? Do you know?
I am not sure, man.
There's an Upshur County in West Virginia, but I don't know if that's the one.
Could be there. I don't know.
I think it's Essex. I think it's in Essex.
Matt, I'm going to go meth.
Going meth?
Yeah, that feels methy. But you know what? Maybe it's a crackhead. Crackhead rolling around with bombs.
What was this lovely
Sounds
mom
safe.
on there? Heroin, bath salts, crack, or meth? We'll find out next.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
Wow.
What's up?
I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
Is your team at work feeling a little disconnected? Maybe the workflow's not flowing? Try Confluence by Atlassian. Confluence is the connected workspace where teams can create, organize, and deliver work like never before. In Confluence, teams can whiteboard their vision for any project, easily create or access the relevant pages and resources they need, and discover important context they might not even know they need. Plus, AI helps teams jumpstart brainstorms, organize information, and connect workflows, so teams can move efficiently and create alignment with ease. In fact, with Confluence, teams can see 5.2% average boost in productivity in 1 year. So if your team lacks confidence, try Confluence, the connected workspace where teams can do it all. Set knowledge free with Confluence. Learn more at Atlassian.com/confluence. That's ATLASSIAN.com/CONFLUENCE.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Category drugs on profile. This got a woman was arrested while driving with her kids. She was pretty high, and she had bombs in her car, which is a nice touch. And there were drugs as well. Question is, what drugs were also in her car? Not saying she was on the drugs. We don't know, but this is what they found.
Oh, she was.
So was she on heroin, bath salts, crack, or meth?
And Matt, that is the very question that we posed to you, and you instantly went with bath salts. I'm afraid it was not bath salts. Not bath salts. D. Ted Smith, you went crack because nothing sounds cooler than a crackhead with an explosive. Well, I agree with you in spirit, sadly. Not crack.
Sounds cool.
Miles, you just went old-fashioned methamphetamine.
Yeah.
And you are correct.
All right.
Matt.
Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Story did feel methy. All right, you got the Jimmys,
Fallon and Kimmel,
Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late?
It is right here. The title. These guys have teams of talents and writers helping come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
In Alabama, a woman gave birth to her child in a Krispy Kreme parking lot. Delivery was complete success. Both mother and baby have been glazed.
The Ted Smith. Yes.
Colbert.
In Alabama, a woman gave birth to a baby in a Krispy Kreme parking lot. The delivery was a complete success, and both mother and baby have been glazed.
A woman in Alabama recently gave birth to a baby in the parking lot of a Krispy Kreme. This according to some recently discovered Springsteen lyrics.
Fallon.
Yeah, I guess, Fallon.
Seth.
A woman in Alabama recently gave birth to a baby in the parking lot of a Krispy Kreme. This according to some recently discovered Springsteen lyrics.
Spirit Airlines has announced a new dress code for passengers banning revealing clothing or offensive tattoos. But don't worry, you can still slaughter a goat in the bathroom.
God, I hope that's you.
Colbert.
It's Colbert.
Spirit Airlines has announced a new dress code for passengers banning revealing clothing or offensive tattoos. But don't worry, you can still slaughter a goat in the bathroom.
This year, a 30-second Super Bowl ad costs more than $7 million. The commercials are so important because without them, Americans would forget that beers, chips, and soda exist.
That's you. The Ted Smith.
Fallon.
I read that this year, a 30-second Super Bowl ad cost more than $7 million. Yeah, the commercials are important because without them, Americans would forget that beer, soda, and chips exist.
Shreveport's aquarium has a new baby shark, which is odd since the only sharks in the tank are both female. And a related story, the aquarium has some new openings for Shark Tank cleaner.
Ted Smith.
Yeah, that's me.
The cheapest Super Bowl tickets are listed for
all right.
Sorry. Gotta do a rhythm.
Fallon.
Yeah, it's Fallon. Just sorry.
The cheapest Super Bowl tickets are listed for $5,000. The cheapest. The most expensive ones are going for $500,000. Right now, fans are asking themselves, should I buy 2 Super Bowl tickets or a dozen eggs?
So we were talking about different shows and stuff last night or yesterday during the segment, and then Mike sent me off air. He goes, man, have you seen Pop Culture Jeopardy? And I said, I haven't watched it. Colin Jost is the host with the most.
I was going to say, you got to keep rolling.
Yeah. From coast to coast.
And he loves his toast. I don't mean to boast.
God damn it.
But when he dies, you're going to come back as a ghost.
Yeah. Well, I met him out on the coast. Or you already used it. Damn! All right. Pop culture. Right. So this Colin Jost made a joke about it during Weekend Update this week.
Yeah.
Where he saw about somebody jumped on a game show host and knocked him over, and he pulled out a Glock and said, "Try that on Pop Culture Jeopardy."
Yeah.
So I watched it last night. First of all, it's teams of 3. All right. So there's 3 people on each team, 3 teams.
Okay.
And then Mike was right. He was like, dude, I think you'd be good at it. And some of the categories are a little tougher, but it's pretty much just general pop knowledge, which is pretty smooth. Basically, Jost puts it the best in the first episode. He goes, these are basically the questions that you see on regular Jeopardy, and you're like, how do they not know any of this? Right? I think the final Jeopardy category was sports sports advertisements or something. Just easy, right in your wheelhouse. Then they have a cool thing where they still have a daily double, but they also have a triple play.
Okay.
So basically, it would, it'd be like, I'm trying to think. Like, it's a question that has 3 answers. So if I ring in, let's say me, Miles, and Thriller on a team. If one of us rings in, you say the answer to the first part of the question. Then ideally, Miles would know the second part. I would know the third part.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like, you rang in, so you might think we all know it. We don't. So maybe you get the first. So basically, it leaves off there. So if another team gets the first 2 right, and I know the third, once your time's up, I can ring in with that.
You steal it.
Correct. So, I mean, pretty cool little concept. And then just, honestly, just a lot easier to play than regular Jeopardy overall. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try to put in a couple more episodes of that tonight, and we'll check that out. The only thing I did.
What is it on?
That is on Amazon.
Okay.
So, but yeah, teams of 3. It seems to be mostly couples and then one male friend who may or may not enjoy the company of other men. So I looked at Mike. I was like, what? Is it you and your wife and me? I got to be the third guy? I think we cut you out. I think it's me and your wife and somebody else I recruited. All right, everybody knows Roseanne Barr.
Yep.
She's working on a new show for herself. She calls it a cross between the original show of Roseanne and The Sopranos.
Oh.
It's about a small-town farmer in Alabama who dabbles in growing and selling marijuana and magic mushrooms. It's also said she and her family are also, quote, saving the United States from drug gangs and China.
Okay. God almighty.
Wait, what?
Because that's our threat right now.
They're growing pot and saving the world, saving the U.S. from China and what else?
And drug cartels.
And drug cartels. Okay. Good job, gang.
She
Somebody
says,
has to do
quote, it's silly out there. It'll be very offensive ideas with a lot of swearing. They save America with guns, the Bible, petty crime, and alcoholism. It's kind of a Coen Brothers thing. This won't shock you. The show doesn't have a home yet. She's shopping the idea around. She
or
says,
a pilot.
Right. She says if Hollywood doesn't buy it, she'll just make it herself, which...
You got the money.
Yeah, why not? Right? There's enough people fired up about her getting fired from that show that, like, I'm sure she will get viewers for it. It's kind of like when people, boycott one thing or another for some reason and then want to watch, then go all in on something else. It's like, that thing, you might agree with its message, but it still could suck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's stuff I like, but it's like that episode sucked. And also, like, I don't know, sometimes with the political state these days, like, you don't have to look that deep into it. And I always talk about Yellowstone. I watched that show for years to not realize that it was like a banging drum for one side of the country. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just like the show.
Right, you just like the show. Mm-hmm. So
it's also kind of crazy. I was talking to my buddy, even his little town of Libby. He was like, oh, my God, the prices have gone through the roof. Jeez. And I can never get over with Yellowstone. Like, the whole point of the show was they didn't want people moving there. Mm-hmm. And now everybody's moving there.
That's the point of the show.
Yeah. So it's like, I like this show that much. I don't know. Trying to think of like another example. It'd be like watching Breaking Bad and then being like, no, I am going to sell meth. It's like, well, they're trying to show you kind of the downs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like at the end of the day, like it doesn't end awesome. It ends like most high-level drug deals do. People either going to jail or they're getting shot and murdered. Mm-hmm. Like, don't forget that part, folks. Come on. Yesterday was also... They had that special on some of the musical guests for SNL over the years. I just think it's funny. Now, look, I love SNL, right? Obviously, Lorne Michaels is the brains behind that. But I think whether it's, Miles, you've seen it in sports, right? Sometimes you got a big recruit in town. He comes to your school. Whether or not he's the best at that position, he's going to get that start, right? So sometimes, right, we see it in our industry. Some people like, so this is just kind of funny to me. To me, the Blues Brothers is a massive, massive skit. It turns into movies. You got to keep in mind, they end up putting out an album. It's the number one album.
I've got 2 of them.
It's the number one movie. But hearing how it kind of started, how Lorne Michaels really hated it.
Danny Aykroyd was a blues aficionado. And when he met Belushi, the 2 of them teamed up. These 2 guys had in the back of their minds, play the blues. There was a running bit on the show at that time, the Bees.
Do you think we like this?
John hated the Bee costume. And that was the first time they really did the Blues Brothers on television.
I can buzz all night long.
They come up with this concept of these two brothers who play blues. Did it for Lorne Michaels. Didn't make the show. Lorne said, frankly, I don't see anything funny about the Blues Brothers. Wednesday, about 3:15, Lorne comes out of read-through and he says, the show's 3 minutes short. John and Danny jumped on him and, Lorne, the Blues Brothers. So Lorne said, we have nothing worthwhile to put in those 3 minutes. You guys might as well make fools of yourselves.
Right. And it ends up being a massive hit.
Did you watch any of the show? I saw a little bit of it last night.
I did not. I recorded it. I'll watch it at some point this week, but there were some good stories in there.
There were. They're talking about Andy Sandberg and the two guys he writes with. And they did D in a Box with Justin Timberlake.
The Lonely Island Boys.
Right, yeah. And they were like, look, man, we were kind of nobody. We just made these videos because we thought they were funny. We didn't even send them to SNL, but somehow Lorne Michaels saw them and said, yeah, there's something with these guys. Bring them in.
Yeah.
So Sandberg's like, look, you're not going to turn down the gig, but we didn't really have like a plan because, again, we're just making crap up. And now you got the guy from SNL saying, well, I need you to do stuff, right? So they put out a few videos here and there, and they're like, they were hit and miss. Then we find out Timberlake's going to be one of the hosts. So they go to Timberlake. We'd like to do a video with you, but they didn't really have a concept. So Timberlake and those guys went back and forth and like, all right, it's going to be a D in a Box. And Sandberg's like, man, Lorne Michaels is going to freak the F out. He's not going to like this. But Justin Timberlake carried enough weight. He's like, look, don't worry about it. So they said they spent, I want to say it was 16 hours, none of them slept, to write the song, right? And it was basically Justin Timberlake's concept because he goes, look, man, the videos you guys do always look kind of low grade, and I know that's your thing, but I think it'll be funnier if we do the song, but it's like pop stars that are unaware of how crappy they are. So they spent more money on the video.
It looks like a legit video from like the early 90s.
That was his whole
kind of it sounds like a legitimate boy band that Justin Timberlake could be in.
But that was his whole thing. He goes, look, guys. And he goes, and so Sandberg was like, well, it's crazy because this is the first time we actually had a producer, being Justin Timberlake, sit in the studio with us. And he's going like, guys, the song's going to be funny, but I'm telling you, it'll be funnier if it's polished. So like Timberlake put pressure on them to do like an actual video production, music production. Anyway, they went out there, they shot the video, and they're like, we didn't know what to think. And they finally put this thing on TV, and it just blew the F up. And Andy Sandberg, like, honest to God, my entire career is based on that song. Lorne Michaels almost gave us free reign after that. Like, guys, do what you want. And then they showed a couple other clips those guys have done with the other ones, man, and they were all hysterical.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane, some of the stuff that comes out of there. And like for Timberlake, right? I remember he was so good. I mean, like I'd go like, all right, I got to get home to watch him when he'd host again. But what was I gonna say? Like the famous David S. Pumpkin skit.
That's so stupid.
That's another one, right? That just they had tabled it, they weren't going to use it, they ended up throwing it in the back of the show, and it was almost like a throwaway skit. And again, because it means nothing. David Pumpkins to this day is nobody, but that skit just hits, and people are like, this is unbelievable. This is so good. Yeah, and some of the other skits, like you know, like you just forget how much like SNL and those people penetrate through all of popular culture and this and that. I also thought it was interesting when they had Rage on.
Oh, they got arrested or something after it, didn't they?
Well, they kicked him because they said, hey, you can't have the upside down flag, which if you know military stuff means the camp is in distress, right? It's a way to let people know. But they're like, we're the Rage band, like we're Rage. We F you. We don't do what you tell us to do. So they end up putting it back up, and then it's like 30 seconds. People are ripping down the flag or on their drum kit or whatever. So they play their song, and then basically they're one of the few bands that you don't see at the end on the stage.
All right, waving to the crowd.
I mean, basically Tom Morello's like, oh, no, they threw us out on the street. He was like, I ended up going to the after party, but he was like, they did not let us back in the building for the second song or to sit up there and wave and be like, we'll do this or that. I mean, Sinead O'Connor, for years.
Oh, yeah.
Her career basically ended when she rips up that picture of the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
And you fast forward and you look at all that stuff. Look, I grew up Catholic, but you can't deny the fact that there was a horrible cover-up of child molestation.
She's trying to tell you.
Right. She was right. Right? And it basically ended her career. And then on the other hand, I would say you also have Adele, who Adele's like, look, I was getting sort of popular. I'm on SNL. And like she says, she does her songs. She said she got on her plane and looked at like Billboard's charts, and she's still like 42nd. By the time she lands in London, she's like number one, and she's like, my career at that point just skyrocketed, and I've never looked back.
Right. Think about that. Adele.
Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff SNL can break and some of the skits are unreal. You know what I mean? So it's also just interesting. I know Miles has just discovered Nate Bargatze, but that skit where he's doing the president thing, I told you, like they were like, Lauren's like, no, we're cutting it. And he's like, it didn't hit during the table read. He goes, once we got in front of an audience, it crushed.
Right.
So you have all that kind of different stuff going on. Let's see. Do you like the FBI? Well, good news. Turn on CBS. 8 p.m. FBI. 9 p.m. FBI International. And at 10, FBI Most Wanted.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Gene therapy cures its very first patient, and doctors say Levi Strauss would be proud. Meanwhile, a Florida deputy finds out on a cruise ship no ecstasy or Molly is allowed. To Glasgow, Scotland, where a huge duck explodes on the street, Wisconsin gym teacher wins award for the most bourbon taken neat. And only in China do people think that drinking tiger pee is healthy. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story, we go to New York, where they love attention. A few months ago, a local police officer called in a report of shots fired, saying that he had sustained an injury. They arrived on the scene to find the officer reeling from being shot in the leg, telling fellow officers that he was shot by a masked individual that sped off in a dark-colored Charger. A manhunt ensued that lasted 7 weeks, and they finally pieced together what happened. Turns out, whether it was for attention, sympathy, or just his ego, the officer stopped off the side of the road that night to dump a handful of .22 caliber rounds, drove to the nearby park, shot himself in the leg before driving himself back to the scene to call in the attack.
Come on.
He has since resigned from his position as the department scrambles to do some optics damage control. The former officer was arrested, and as were his parents, who are believed to be involved in the scheme as well, and all three face serious charges. The round that was put through his leg was found to have been used by the gun that his parents kept in their personal room, and I think he was living with them at the time.
I guess it depends on the trajectory of the bullet.
Right.
Yeah. Right? So, I mean, they'll figure it out real quick. It's almost like that's what they do.
Right. It's like, yeah.
What was the scheme?
Again, they don't know why he did it.
Okay, that's what it's like. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the scheme?
Like, it might have been for attention. It might have been for sympathy, something like that.
I don't get it. We're talking about him.
No kidding, dude. Criminy. It's like, really? You want to be shot? Okay. Jeez, a whiz. For more of the same, we go to Florida, where one man is hurting my chances of having a delicious snack. Police received a tip that a man due to board a local cruise ship was going to attempt to smuggle Molly on board. They stopped him and had the K9 unit search him upon arrival, which led the dog to a bag of Skittles that he had in his bag. But instead of a delicious sugary treat, it was a whole bag full of ecstasy pills. They subsequently searched his luggage and found that he's an even bigger fan of Skittles than they thought, and he was arrested. They also went ahead and relieved him of his duty as Miami-Dade Sheriff's deputy.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, like I said, he's seen how everyone smuggles drugs. He probably thought, you know what, man, this one works well.
Right. Know exactly how this is going to happen.
Maybe they don't have drug-sniffing dogs in Florida, but like whatever you put it in, there's a good chance they're going to find it.
They tipped the cops off, so somebody knew that he was doing it. They said, no, this is your guy.
That's really? Somebody tipped him off.
Yeah, they knew it was him that was doing it. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, depending on how much he had, maybe he was going to sell all that on that cruise, right?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's a rave cruise. So I'm not shocked he had drugs on him. But if he had that many and somebody tipped him off, somebody must have known, like, that's the cop to get your drugs from.
Yeah. And then word gets out. That's fun.
I had 2 green Skittles earlier, man.
Flying. A teacher in Wisconsin is in the news for fitting the stereotype of Wisconsin. Police were called to the scene of a hit and run and were told the story of how a man left the scene telling the victim that he needed to leave because he was a teacher and he needed to get to school on time. Always a great reason to leave an accident, by the way. They got his license plate and found the smashed vehicle in the parking lot of a nearby middle school, figuring out that he was the gym teacher there. They pulled him aside and noticed that he was showing signs of impairment and conducted a field sobriety test, which he failed each and every aspect of. They also took a breathalyzer test, which measured him at a dangerous 0.40.
Wow, man.
But the kicker is, because the breathalyzer only goes to 0.4.
So
Yeah, and it even indicated, like, he's exceeded the limit of my possibility.
It's like your speedometer.
Right. Yeah.
You were going over what it says. It just has to stop there.
Exactly. You've beaten the high score, and we can't even know what score you've got. They're actually amazed that this man's alive.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason I think they cut it all, because at that point, you're, 5 times over the legal limit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're like, look, at that point, you should be dead. We don't need to make this to go higher.
Exactly.
Unless you're this guy.
Like, he's just got pure bourbon running through his veins at this point.
That's insanity.
Right. Come on now, gang. What do you know? He was arrested and charged.
Yeah. Shocking.
Anyway, here, just in case those storms is a bad taste in your mouth.
Thankfully, there's good news.
Back to the medicine field, as there's been a breakthrough with curing sickle cell. Researchers have developed gene editing technology that gave a 20-year-old patient a new lease on life. He'd been suffering a severe case of the disease, leaving him missing large chunks of school, repeatedly hospitalized, in need of expensive hip replacement surgery, and even threatened his life. This new technology works as a quote-unquote spell check, according to Boston Children's Hospital, using enzymes to modify single amino acids at the base of DNA strands. Thanks to this technology, our man is finally able to live his life, telling local media that he's able to go to the gym each and every day thanks to the treatment. Fascinating.
That is.
The fact that they're able to influence DNA with this enzyme.
Terrifying, but I'm glad that it's beneficial.
Right. That actually is a little bit concerning when you mentioned that, but yeah, I'm glad it worked out, man. That's awesome. Men's Room Sports brought to you by the fine folks at Sports on What? What are you going to watch tonight? You got basketball on both college and NBA, and your Seattle Kraken look to bounce back from a poor showing in Edmonton last night as they host the Anaheim Ducks here at home. And if you want to find out where to find those sports, I suggest that you download the Sports on What app. It's got all that information for you, where you can find it and when it's going to be on. As far as your weather, the clouds are moving in, and it's starting tonight. We're expecting partly cloudy skies and a low of 30 into tomorrow, where we'll see partly cloudy skies and a high right around 46. That is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Your shot of $5K a day if you listen to Jolene tonight on the Odyssey app.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex Lotion Tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Whether it's a surprise sneeze or a stuffy nose, it's always good to have something gentle on hand. Kleenex Lotion Tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. I mean, why not have one less thing to worry about when you're not feeling your best? For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
Presented by T-Mobile, the official wireless partner of Odyssey Sports. With an awesome network and great savings, there's never been a better time to join T-Mobile. Visit your neighborhood store to make the switch today.
The details behind the Diddy indictment. Taylor Swift's stalkers. Jerry Lee trying to kill Elvis. Disgraceland dives into the dark side of entertainment every Tuesday. Follow and listen to Disgraceland on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.